Good evening and welcome to the We Are Rise show on this beautiful Wednesday. It was a beautiful day today, man. It was fabulous. 73 degrees, great. Weather was fantastic. Weather's great right now. Welcome into the show. Welcome to my co-host Marshall Smith. What's going on, my friend? How you doing?
Finally getting over this daggone sinus infection I've
Yeah.
had since last week. And I'm
Mm.
getting what you recommended, the beekeeper's
Oh, this
nasal.
stuff is great. It's more than just the saline. It's got oregano. It's got eucalyptus. It works well. I mean, because I was dealing with the sinus infection for a while, a variety of things. I was on a steroid pack. It didn't work though. Didn't work for me. Probably should have took an antibiotic. That would have been working. So tonight's show, laser tag at the border. Yeah, Bannon-Bondi-Epstein implosion. Man, today I watched a lot of that. What a shit show. It's embarrassing on one end and comical and just and sad on the other. It's the world we live in. It's garbage. Tranny slaughter. Yep. Another trans shooter, 18-year-old, that the Canadian government only wanted to recognize as a person. You know. They were even, put it this way, in quotation marks, concerned about, even after the person took its own life, as he was saying, in the third person pronouns, they were still worried about thereafter. And something in a way, ladies and gentlemen, if you know that song from your Nirvana, we're going to cover his death, now his murder, connected to Epstein, connected to a lot of this sacrifice. If you think about, you go back to a variety of different things, Chester Benningfield,
Lincoln Park,
yeah,
another
Chester
one.
Bennington. Yeah, is it Chester Bennington? Yeah, and then you have what's his name? From oh man, I don't know why I'm drawing a blank. Yeah. He, she, they, them. Yeah. I mean, Soundgarden. Yeah. Then you have that singer. You have many others that are all connected to all this. But we will cover that tonight. There's a lot of other things that are breaking that we'll cover. Yeah, Avasia, Chris Cornell. Thank you, Sausage Launcher. Welcome in Pill.net. Hello over here on Rumble. What's up, Tracer C4? Greetings to you, True Terran. Thank you, Thea, for the 900 gold pills. Bad Bunny, Bad Blood. What's
Bad
up,
Bunny
Patty
got
P?
slapped. Hey, Bad Bunny got slapped with a $10 million fine from the
From where?
FCC
Oh,
today.
yeah, they did go after him. Okay,
Yep,
good.
$10 million.
Yeah, I mean,
Maybe we can
good.
have an article tomorrow somehow.
I mean, I mean, I'm not gonna. I like I said,
I know.
whatever.
Not.
Good luck. Good
It's worth
riddance.
a mention, and that's it. Bye bye.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Wood USA, thank you for the 217 gold pills. Who else is here tonight? Trusty Turnip, how you doing? Sausage Launcher, what's up? Uh yes, good to see everybody. Welcome in. We are on Rumble, so please like and subscribe over there. Leave us a comment. We're upticking over there. A lot of views. A lot of people watching the show over there. Yeah, but leave us a comment. That's important too. Let's hear your thoughts. Let's hear what you got to say. I check it from time to time. So like, share, and subscribe. Drop us a gold pill. Hit the bell to be notified when we go on. If you want to help out, marshallkofi.com/surfdog74, or you can buymeacoffee.com/wearerise. Any of the ways that you want to help support this platform. So let's start off with the laser tag at the border, because I think in some way, there's a lot of confusion. A lot of people didn't know what was going on, but we'll break it down, because whether it's the Department of Transportation, which is basically at odds, or there was a miscommunication that they're saying between them and the Pentagon, I'm not really sure about this. But the El Paso airspace shutdown sparks a DC blame game. This is Axios putting this out. Trump administration is blaming a cartel drone incursion for the sudden closure of the airspace. Okay. I also heard it was a party balloon. So between the military and aviation ministry as a factor, why it matters. Oh, let me put the address in. Hold on. You always got to subscribe to these people. Yeah. So as the administration officials blame Mexican cartel drones and the military took action to disable them, another source told Axios the military was testing a counter drone technology. Yeah. Space lasers, ground lasers, laser beams from Jew technology. No, I'm kidding. But there was a dispute with the FAA about the potential risk to civilian flights in and out of El Paso's busy airport. I mean, first they said it was 10 days. They didn't know how this was. So I don't know if this was a testing thing or there was something else going on. We'll get to the other something that's coming up. There have been conflicting reports about whether military was responding to active drone incursion. I believe the military is actually in Mexico right now, and they're actually going after the cartel. So this is part and parcel to, I think, this scenario because they kept it very specific and they had no more commentary about it. That's all they have to say about it. I know Sean Duffy was saying, the Secretary of Transportation, that's it. It was a drone incursion. We had to shoot it down. We learned the FAA was aware of this, about like shutting this down. We didn't know how long this was going on. I think there was an operation going on, which we can go back and look at it. I'm going to show you something right now. But I do believe there was an operation going on, and maybe there was something flying around that crossed over to the border or not. But I think they wanted to do it as a cautionary or out of abundance, as they're saying, out of caution. The FAA could not predict where the U.S. government drones might be flying. They were talking about U.S. drones flying over. So if U.S. drones were flying over and they were seeking out and destroying those drones, they were also hitting cartel-rich resources, I believe, as well, across the El Paso border and the Rio Grande. One source familiar with the interagency discussion said it was both drone incursions along the border that have been occurring with some regularity, and the Pentagon saw an opportunity to test this new weapon, and I think that was part of it. However, the FAA was concerned the weapon might be able to bring down a civilian aircraft. The NSC was aware of the discussions between the two ahead of the planned test. The Pentagon said, trust us. But they have checked history. We came up with the 1-year anniversary of the accident at Reagan, and FAA was not about to let this happen again. The source said, referring to the deadly crash between military helicopter and civilian airline last year. The possibility, I think, that they wanted to shut this down to do more testing and whatever else they were, let's just say, operating in and stuff. Clearly that changed. The White House pulled it back, and they addressed the issue, saying we're moving on with this. So whatever they were planning on has now changed. Multiple sources say the friction between the FAA and Pentagon around the decision. Okay, this is Axios. The FAA's abrupt order came after the Pentagon was unable to meet the FAA's standards. No, the people that were pissed was the El Paso airport. They were pissed. They said the mayor of El Paso was freaking out. You have a congresswoman who's speaking in Spanish in El Paso, another disgusting boob, talking about blah, 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 talking like that. So they're only their people can listen to that cocktail of disinformation while the rest of us are sitting there, shut up. Just shut up. We don't want to hear your bullshit. We already saw it on Sunday with Bad Bunny. So another administration source claimed the FAA went overboard by the 10-day shutdown as the White House had not been notified. Think about that. An Army spokesman told Axios the 1st Armored Division at Fort Bliss, that's where it's operating from, in El Paso, was not aware of any threat prior to the closure, and we think we were safe on the base at the moment. There wasn't anything tracking. It's unclear at this time why the announcement was not accompanied by assurances that there was no threat to public safety. I think in some way, they're not going to tip their hand in some way. They're not going to reveal their cards. They're not going to tell you that there's an operation going on. They got to keep it as quiet as possible. And if there is an operation going on over the Rio Grande into the Mexican border and stuff with military or drones or what have you, I think in some way you have to consider they're not going to just tell people what's going on to alert everybody, especially that big mouth Democrat congressperson who was just talking like that in Spanish, probably alerting the cartel. Look, if you are sitting there pushing back about this in some way, that tells me you're getting paid off the dole and the tit from the cartels because you're like, oh, my constituents. You didn't care about the constituents. You didn't even know what was going on. The El Paso airport didn't know what was going on. The FAA was very let's just say, mum about this. The White House played plausible deniability. Of course, it makes sense. It's not about testing a weapon out there. It's about the incursions that are taking place and about our incursions. About what? Because they can't announce that, hey, we're going into Mexico and we're taking out resources of the cartel. They're not going to do that. They're not going to announce it. They're going to do it clandestine. That was the whole point about this. But every media outlet was basically dropping this nonsense in between the Guthrie stuff where they arrested somebody, then they let that go, or detained somebody, let that go. Some guy who was a DoorDash delivery guy or whatever. What a joke that is. Marshall, I mean, look, this whole thing, I think in some way was bigger than what people are speculating about. Now, if the White House didn't tip their hat for the 10-day thing, and Sean Duffy said we're shutting down this for 10 days and stuff, who authorized this? So that shows me that there is a disconnect between the FAA, the Transportation Secretary, and the Pentagon, because they're not going to tell the Secretary of Transportation they're operating in this manner. All right. So he might spill the beans accidentally. All right. So this was pushed out there for some reason to be alerted through the FAA. Hey, look, let's ground all civilian airliners just in case. Just in case. Question is, just in case for what? And for who? We don't even know if it was really serious, or it could have been really serious, and they're just basically poo-pooing this and saying, well, we were talking about space lasers or ground-based lasers to take out drones, or drones with lasers targeting other lasers. I mean, it's a very odd thing that we're sitting here and they're complaining about, diddering around the idea. It's like, well, is it safe or not? Just like it said in the article, it's like we got to be careful about what happened with the aircraft, the helicopter, and the plane colliding. You don't want a drone, especially ours, colliding with an American airliner or inbound airliner. But especially if there is a Mexican drone out there, you want to make sure you take it down before it takes the airliner out.
Yeah, to me, this tells me that there's a lot going on down there. That there's if they're going to do that to that extent, I mean, 10 day, even doing it for a day or two is a huge big deal, because you're closing it down, you're closing down the airport and all that.
Right.
I would think that Secretary of War would probably know everything we need to know, but he damn sure is not going to tell it. And I think they've got this has probably been an ongoing thing.
Well, you think Duffy was alerted to this? You think Duffy, the Secretary of Transportation, was alerted to this? Because someone had to alert the FAA, which would mean he's in charge of that, and say, hey, look, we got to shut this down. So is he playing coy? Is he playing, devil's advocate here? Is he saying, this is all we know? We just know that there was an incursion. We don't know what happened.
Duffy?
We don't know what.
Duffy, right?
Yeah, Sean Duffy.
Right. Okay. I think that really they got to both know. They got Hedgeseth and Duffy, I'm sure, are dialed in. I can't imagine them not be.
No, you would have to alert them to let them know, especially if they're going to shut down that airport from an FAA guideline. That has to come from the top. The top who? That's the Secretary of Transportation. He's the one in charge. So it came from him, and then suggestions about a 10-day proposal of shutting down the airport. Where did that come out? Because apparently there was misgivings about this, and I guess the White House pulled the plug on it temporarily. And we don't know why they did that, because they're saying the White House was not aware of it, which is a perfect way to suggest that that you have that deniability, plausible deniability.
Right.
We didn't know what was going on. Whatever was happening, that was outside our purview.
And then they all know about it.
Now exactly.
Well, I think Trump and all of them knew about it.
Of course.
Anyway. I mean,
you think Trump doesn't know everything that's going on? It's better to, with everything that's going on with Epstein, with everybody's focused on this, it was a perfect time to do this, because again, no one's really pausing to really look at this and say, what's really taking place? It was only down in Texas where you had a certain congresswoman who don't speak any English, who wants to talk to her constituents in Spanish, which is a disgrace, should be removed from office. And then bitching about, oh, the airport's going to be shut down for 10 days. And then everybody was pointing to some Q post to say blah, blah, blah. And then they rescinded that in some way, which I thought was laughable. I just think in some way, whatever happened was a test. And whatever that test was, here it is. Fed sees 134 acres of Texas land used by untouchable Mexican cartel. I wonder if this was happening in the last couple of days while this flared up. U.S. federal authorities have taken control of more 134 acres in Texas that had been used by the Mexican drug cartel for smuggling operations, according to the announcement of Customs and Border Protection. We took land and everything on it. What does that mean? A video accompanying the message showed law enforcement officers arresting multiple individuals, described the property as belonging to the West Side Gulf Cartel, which is identified as a terrorist organization operating near the Rio Grande City in Texas. They thought they were untouchable. The video stated they were wrong. 134 acres were seized. Wow. I'm not going to play the video, but the message to the cartels: keep smuggling and lose it all. So I wonder if this operation was an ongoing effort, and during this time where it kind of raised the red flag, where they were even flying their drones or utilizing Ray to test out their weapon in some way, was it plausible to suggest that they would respond and retaliate against in this manner? So they just did it out of the abundance of caution that they were suggesting. That could be, but everything on the land was seized. Arms smuggling, human trafficking, kidnapping, murders. What else do we know about this cartel? What else was on that property with dismantling operations? Were they using this to cross the border and transport fentanyl or any other drugs? We're dismantling your operations from the ground up. We're cutting out the safe houses, your staging areas, your corridors. This is a warning. I thought this was really interesting. In May, the Treasury Department's Office of Foreign Asset Control sanctioned 2 senior members of Mexican-based cartel of the Norista, blocking all U.S.-linked assets tied to the individuals. In March, the same office sanctioned 6 individuals, 7 entities connected to this money laundering operation. Look, I think in some way it's fair to say, and we've been saying it here, it's fair to say, there's no doubt about it, we are inside clandestine special operations, what have you, JSOC, military inside of Mexico. They're just not advertising it. They're not showcasing this, and they're doing it as quietly as they can, with maybe the hat tip, the nod, or basically the finger by Shinebox. We don't know, but I guarantee you some way her hands are tied. So is she basically plausibly denying all this stuff because she hasn't made a comment, because she has pushed back and railed against this, while simultaneously she's hat tipping, winking, and nodding and saying, go ahead, do this, because we can't do it?
Well, that would make sense, because then she can just say, well, I didn't know anything about all this,
Yeah.
I mean, and she doesn't have to worry about taking the bullet, at least for now.
Right.
I also believe, in its common sense, anybody with that 134 acres, they've cleared it out. They've got all their stuff, and they're going to set up shop. We're going to set up shop there.
Yeah,
there's no doubt.
I think
in my
so
mind.
too. And I think that's exactly it. Every inch of land we're taking back. Yeah, every inch of land we're just moving forward, and I think that's what it's going to be, a forward operating base. I think that's where it's moving. Here comes from Amuse. When a Mexican drug cartel drone penetrated the U.S. airspace near the El Paso International Airport, U.S. Army responded with electronic countermeasures, and the FAA closed the airspace. In response, Democrat Rep. Veronica Escobar demanded the FAA reopen the airspace, claiming that the Carl's drone activity did not pose a threat. Yeah, I wonder how much money you're getting paid there, sister. Yeah, that's what she was speaking to a constituents. I was watching it, and she was talking in Spanish. I wonder if she was tipping off the cartel. I wonder if she was sending a direct message out there. I wonder if she was, and saying, hey, look, they're out there. I wonder if she was tipping off. They're working in this. And I think that this really is important. I know that people just blew this over and stuff, but this was a big thing. If that airport was going to be shut down for 10 days, I think in some way you would have basically had the media focus on it. It would have tipped its hand, and everybody would have been like piercing in to see what was happening, what was really happening. And if you want to keep this under the radar, so to speak, pardon the pun, FAA, ha, 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 then the best thing you need to do is what? You don't shut down the airport. You take whatever land you can. You operate from that area inside the Rio Grande City that is right there directly outside or on, let's just say inside of Texas, but right there. And you utilize that space to operate from. I think that's logically where we're going with, and they're probably doing it from multi different levels and stuff. We don't know what's taking place. Someone said that there was a large contingent of Coast Guard operations in the Gulf of America on the east side, and I thought I saw video footage of people talking about that where the Gulf of Mexico is the east side, right across from Florida, that they were showing multiple staging operations from. I saw some pictures that I don't know if it's real or not. I'm not really sure. Drones require flight plans and pilot licenses, should have been shot down. Hey, Judy Lady Pug. The drone should have been shot down? You mean like the drones of their drones, right? But what about if we were utilizing our drones to shoot down their drones? Okay. No, I agree with that. I'm not really sure. And I don't think we can pinpoint whose drones they were. They just said there was an incursion. Now, it could be someone else just flying drones around on the other side, trying to drop off like Amazon packages, fentanyl or drugs all over the place, Marshall.
Yeah, I mean,
Well, I'm
it's
being
just an
facetious,
on.
but
It's
seriously.
just no, but well, it's an ongoing thing, and I believe that not only look we haven't heard anything about Venezuela anymore.
Right.
We haven't
No, no,
heard
they
any.
did. That's not true. They just
Oh,
raided another boat and they
okay,
seized
we haven't heard. It's not
10
been like
tons. Yeah.
big fucking news, and all that.
Hmm.
So, and in Mexico, that's very quiet too. So, I will have to agree with you that I think that not only just in Mexico and Venezuela, I think in other areas, uh, wherever it could be, Colombia, whatever, that we're doing shit, that no, we're never going to know about
Right. And that we should
militarily.
know about. You know why we shouldn't know about it? Because you don't want to tip your hand. You don't want to tell the enemy what's going on. You don't want to alert the fake media and all the criminal treasonous Congress people that would rat out to the cartels so they can get paid. Yeah, you don't want to tip your hand in any way whatsoever. So I think this is a lot bigger, and I'm glad this is happening. Now, I think shutting it down for 10 days might have given them pause to say, wait a minute, now everybody's gonna focus on that. And whatever they were doing, they pushed forward, seized the land, and may be operating outside the boundaries of what they're coming. But it doesn't mean that there was something in place. Yeah, it needed to be shut down. And you're right, Judy the Ladybug. You're absolutely right. The question is, we didn't hear anything about that. We heard about these testing lasers and what have you, and all this other stuff. But again, it's very vague. Here it is. Gunther England puts this out. This isn't minor. This is major. Aviation expert Mike Boyd. They found something in El Paso or the surrounding area that was a legitimate threat. This goes on Fox News. He says
here is something major. 10 days. That's 1,000 flights. That's about 175,000 people.
Now that was suggested where they initially did that, and then the White House rolled that back, saying we're not aware of this, and we're going to basically push back on this. And so Duffy said, we're rescinding that. That's what took place.
People that won't be flying into a city that had really no other close by air service options. This is not a minor thing, but Fort Bliss might be part of it. But I really do think they've discovered something major on the ground in that area, El Paso and Santa Teresa. That means we might be attacked very badly. They wouldn't do this otherwise. This is not minor at all.
And I would hearken back to going back to the movie, not the movie, the show on Prime that I tell you about, the Jack Ryan series. The last episode of season 4 regarding what is taking place with incoming, and it takes place at the border, the Mexican border, where there were bombs inside these biochemical agents that if they would have spread all over the place, people would have been sick. And these trucks, Toyota trucks that had them, were going to be shipped to 6 different locations of major cities. And you're going to have bioweapon attack. So I think always about that last episode on the last season of the Jack Ryan show on Prime. It was fantastic. And where they uncover this through this plot, the cartel working with an Asian group to set this up. So when I heard this, my antennas went up thinking, what did they find? I mean, honestly, you can have a drone flying over just spreading fentanyl in the air. That's a chemical agent. How many people will that kill? They could be dropping other things as well. So when you hear this, this is frightening. This is concerning.
So the El Paso airport is responding to the FAA closure. This is what they said in the statement. The FAA, on short notice, issued a temporary flight restriction, halting all flights to and from El Paso and our neighboring community, Santa Teresa, New Mexico. The restriction prohibits all aircrafts operating, including commercial cargo and general aviation, to February 20th. What do you make of that statement?
It means they have found something in El Paso, in the area, that is a threat that's going to take them at least 10 days to try to ferret out and neutralize. This ain't minor. I mean, I just can't get over. This is not a broken wire in an air traffic control system. This is something where there is something on the ground in El Paso right now today that is geared to shooting down or destroying airplanes. I mean, that they wouldn't ground them otherwise. Let's put that right on the.
So that's the point. So this is a greater threat than we're possibly thinking, and a lot of people like kind of poo-pooed this after they rescinded the 10 days. They neutralized the threat. Apparently, the threat was neutralized. That's why the reason why the airport was allowed to go operational again. That's my guesstimate. If I'm to speculate, I would go along with that, saying whatever it was, the threat was neutralized, and they said there was no longer necessary to continue on with this issue. This is something serious. Think about it. People fly every day. You know how many airplanes fly in and out? We don't know what this intended target was. They're just non-specific. In fact, they're saying nothing. And now they're saying, well, we were going to test a laser that would target drones. We just don't know how serious this was. And we probably won't. We probably won't. Because after 9/11, they don't want to spark another scare. And they don't want right now where the economy is just booming, 130,000 new jobs. You see where gold, silver are. You notice that where we are right now, you don't want to spark something that would cause the airlines to, let's just say, crater. Remember, people were betting on the airlines during 9/11, right before the day of, the evening before. They were shorting the stock on the airlines. Do we ever know about who did that? Yeah, Wall Street knew about it. A lot of people knew about that. All right. That's my thought. Marshall, what's your contention here and stuff? We're going to move on.
The 10-day thing.
Was serious.
Yeah, the 10-day thing tells me that they thought it was something really bad.
Mm-hmm.
And then they were able to figure it out, contain it, whatever. And then they were like, okay, we can go ahead and pull this thing back. So, yeah, it tells me that area, of course, the whole border is fucking
Everybody's
hot.
saying a dirty bomb. FL John 48, what's
Probably,
up? Dirty bomb. I mean, seriously. Do you want to know about that? I mean, here's the point. Do you want to know about it?
They're not going to tell you.
They're not going to tell you. You know why they're not going to tell you? Because that's the last thing we need right now. That panic, that chaos, that will reach an apex moment. Yeah, and you'll have more crazy. You think you have craziness going on in Minnesota. Think about it, you got that. It's going to be like Airplane, the movie Airplane.
Don't call me Shirley.
Yeah, where everybody's freaking out. They're out of coffee. Remember, they're out of coffee and they're beating the shit out of each other? That's what I'm talking about.
You speak jive?
Thea donating 300 gold pills. Thank you so much. Trump one, gift of the cookie. Thank you. Everybody dropping in. Curious Cat, thank you for the cookie. Thea for the cookie. Thea donating 600 gold pills. Judy the Lady Pug, it's good to see you. I know you're usually going on Thomas's show to see. Gift of the cookie. We need to close caption to understand elected officials. Yes, I agree with that one 100%. Hey, what's up, Hogleg? Thank you for the cookie. Good to see everybody. It's good to see everybody out there. I'm glad you're here. Like, share, and subscribe. Again, if you want to help out anybody else, you can help out the show as you're doing. You can go to buymeacoffee.com/wearerise, or you can help out marshallkofi.com/surfdog74. All right, let's move on. There's just so much, a lot of stuff. And I'm going to be jumping around, but obviously we'll get to Bannon and Bondi, the good, bad, and the Bondi, I call it, because it was bad, it was ugly, and it was embarrassing on both sides. I'm not going to give her quarter. She was embarrassing at some levels. She was. And she is not. Just think about who she is. She is the face of the Justice Department. She is just an actor playing a part. Not a good one.
Well, some of it was pretty good.
No, but honestly, she wasn't reading from the script properly. You could tell that. So no longer a conspiracy theory. Jeffrey Epstein emails rumor that they keep us distracted with sports and commercials so we don't organize and push back against the financial elite. Hello? I've been saying that about the NFL, bread and circus. They literally say this. In an email in 2014, the CEO of Barclays, Jess Staley, laughs with Epstein that the masses are busy with the bread and circuses instead of overthrowing the financial elite. I'm not kidding, he says. You want to know why we're not so Sao Paulo? There's not massive riots? Watch the TV ads on the Super Bowl. It's all about blacks and hip cars with white women. The group that should be in the streets has been bought off by Jay-Z. They laugh and laugh that people are distracted by a halftime show. Now, frankly, I think most people kind of hate the halftime shows now, but you get the point. It's what I've been saying. Don't get invested with it. Just shut it off. All of it. And I don't give a fuck about TPUSA. I don't care if they're going to do something else. You should shut it off completely. It is just another part of controlled opposition for the other side of divertisement. The truth is, these people generally see you as easily distractible. Yep. Easily entertained. You're bitching and moaning about Bad Bunny or whatever. Who gives a fuck about that guy? He'll be on a plane, and that plane will just happen to crash. And you'll wonder why. Modern day Roman Colosseum. Listen to this.
In an email from 2014, the CEO of Barclays, Jess Staley, laughs with Epstein that the masses are busy with bread and circuses instead of overthrowing the financial elite. I'm not kidding. He says, you want to know why we're not Sao Paulo? There's not massive riots? Watch the TV ads on the Super Bowl. It's all about hip blacks in hip cars with white women. The group that should be in the streets has been bought off by Jay-Z. They're laughing that people are distracted by a halftime show. Now, frankly, I think most people kind of hate the halftime shows now, but you get the point. You can insult me about the sports ball shit all you want. I'm not a nagging millennial. The truth is, these people genuinely see you as an easily distractible, easily entertained little baby that they're jiggling keys in front of. The games are probably rigged, and you're definitely losing your money sports betting. Jewish American Robert Kraft, who owns the Patriots, is a weird pervert who goes and gets rub and tugs at random spas and made the Patriots go on a trip to Israel. And Julian Edelman converted to Judaism despite being 1/16 Jewish. At the time I'm making this, the Seattle Seahawks are winning 12-0. Maybe Robert Kraft can pull out some of that Kabbalistic magic and help the Patriots to win. I don't know. I want you guys to hang out with friends. I want you guys to be social. I want you to have a good time, but just be honest with yourself about what this is.
Exactly. You know, it was funny, like 2 days ago, I think it was happening. I saw a thing from the WLT. I didn't want to cover it about there was a massive brawl in another NBA game. And I'm thinking, what a fucking shocker. A bunch of blacks on the fucking court, and they're fighting. And we're supposed to be shocked, I tell you, that blacks are fighting on a basketball court. But it happens to be in the NBA that's controlled by Jews. And these people get making millions of dollars, and they look like fucking schmucks and idiots. This is why don't waste your money. Don't waste your time. Turn it all off. Baseball, basketball, fuck it all. It is all garbage. We're going to sit here and continue to sling mud, throw shit at each other about this halftime show or that. Who gives a fuck? Do I really want to support and watch someone that's making $20 million a year, $30 million a year, 40 when you can't fucking struggle to pay your fucking rent, your mortgage, your health care? You can't even afford to buy food. You can't afford to buy anything. But you want to watch that garbage to soothe your little bum because you got a little what? All right? Hemorrhoid on it. You can't handle it. And so what do? You pass the time watching that nonsense while these people do marketing ads to what? Hate Whitey. And they enjoy you spending money on their advertisement so they can get richer and richer. Fuck them and die. All of them.
And the Jews that control this shit, Brett, they sit back and they watch like that brawl you said in the NBA. Yep. They sit back and they do this. They rub their hands and they smile and they think it's so funny. Yeah. And they just laugh.
We got our boys in the hood.
And the betting that they get, all the betting that they get, it's all fucking rigged. Oh, man. Anyway, go ahead.
I don't give my money to cable. I give it to Patriots here. Yeah. Thank you, Trump one. Judy Lady, but bread, sugar, circus, entertainment. Absolutely. It's garbage. Garbage. That's why, I got pushback, Judy Ladypug. You weren't watching the other show last on Monday. A lot of people were criticizing me because I was making comments about TV. Look, I never criticize the quality of entertainment that they put out, which was pre-recorded, by the way, but shot live at another time. What I said was, it's two sides of the same fucking coin. That's what I was suggesting.
As far as the owners, the groups leading it.
Right.
Not the individual.
Not the artist.
I'd
not
like
the
to
artist.
see the artists do it themselves. Bro.
No, the artists were great. And you know what? I downloaded some of their stuff on my Spotify, and I was impressed. So if anything, well, now you got other music to enjoy. But again, two hands of the same coin or two fists of the same, punch, so to speak, on opposite ends of the cheek. That's the way I look at it. And I couldn't believe some of the people making these horrible comments like, what's wrong with you and stuff. I'm like, what do you mean what's wrong with me? What's wrong with you? You got nothing better to do than watch the goy slop? There you go. Not my name. I call it dirt slop, but there you go. Let's move on. Epstein files, a former FBI special agent, warns these files will unleash Pandora's box. It's going to unleash hell on earth. It already is unleashing Pandora's box of national security threats and geopolitical ramifications, unlike anything before in American history. Well, what is it going to do? Is it going to cause wars? What is it going to do? Is it cause a financial collapse? Yeah, I think so. On many levels. Think about how many of these people are embedded in our financial markets. How many people are embedded in other countries? We're all tied to the same type of, let's just say, market per se. So I think in some way, there could be some people thinking, hey, if I'm going to go out swinging, I'm going to pull the lever and say, fuck it all.
It's going to take
that level. Yeah, go ahead.
It's going to take a long time to separate us from all these institutions that they built over hundreds of years.
Yeah.
So it's not going to be like overnight. We're just going to go, hey, fuck you, Jew. It's not like that.
No. And what I'm saying is that as people are being outed, look what's going on with Lutnick. Yeah, Bondi bullshit. Yeah, we'll cover that. What's going on with Lutnick? They want him to resign. I mean, the White House is not going to fire him. I mean, President Trump's not. I mean, obviously he's not. And I don't think he's going to step down. But did he make a mistake and say one thing and led us to believe another? Yeah, he did. He admitted that. But he said, look, I was with my family, my children. Nothing went on. No shenanigans. Okay. Well, why did you originally lie then? Because the 6 degrees of desperation of Epstein is what I call it. It is a panic. And if you are connected to him in any way, you see how President Trump is just wiping off all this dirt slop. And he's like, not on me. Everybody else that you hung around with, why were you hanging out with? We'll get to Bannon.
I don't think Trump would keep him. I don't think he would keep him.
You don't think he would keep him?
I don't think he would keep him around if he didn't keep
it becomes
Epstein
problematic.
Around. Yeah, okay. If Trump thought that Lutnick was involved in this shit, he wouldn't keep him around. There's no way.
Right. Is it a coincidence they live next to each other? Did he not know that he lived there in Manhattan-Dale?
I saw he did a very good interview where he talked about all that. And
I understand. What I'm saying is
Trump knows
he should have been
than me.
smarter about expressing the truth.
I hear you.
Because there is a small amount, let's just say a percentage or a window. That window is closing. Look what's going on in Great Britain. What's going on in Norway. What's going on in other countries where you have people, prime ministers, kings, what have you, princes, anybody that was associated to this guy in Europe, you're fucking being thrown to the wolves. Starmer is going to resign. So what I'm saying is it's been kind of muted here. Canada's got their own issues, Australia, what have you. But if Lutnick resigns, where does this lead us to other people and other ventures if that happens?
I think it would look worse if he resigned.
Well, that's my point. So I think in some way, in order to show face and say, look, I did nothing wrong. I mean, whether you like the fact that, you know, he let's just put it this way, mysteriously or purposefully misled in some way, because the emails say what they say. And he's like, they're in there. That's it. So did he mislead people? Yeah, he did. Is there any evidence that he did anything wrong?
If he takes the hits and keeps
Yeah.
going, I would say he probably knows that he did not do anything.
Well, that's my point. I
No.
mean, you don't want to surrender and give in if you did nothing wrong.
Yeah.
But again, you heard Dan Pena. How many of these people, everybody knew they were doing business with this guy. Everybody was. Joe Rogan made a comment about this, ladies and gentlemen. He said, I'm in the Epstein files. And the thing is that I'm in the Epstein files is because I said, I don't want to have anything to do with this to that lesser degree, or that he was not wanting to be a part of any of this stuff. And he goes, I wouldn't even take a phone call. I wouldn't even take this. I wouldn't go there. I wouldn't go that. But the fact that he's mentioned in there for saying this stuff is hilarious in some way. I just think that there's probably so many people that were mentioned in these files that didn't do anything. We need to focus on now. Les Wexner's out there. That's great. What are you going to do about it, Pam Bondi? But the FBI says 25 of those women, including Ghislaine Maxwell, said that 25 of those women have been paid off, signed NDAs, and that's it. Are these the same women that sat behind Pam Bondi at today's oversight hearing? Probably. Were they also part and parcel of the trafficking and grooming of young girls, procuring themselves? Possibly. We're not really sure. That's why she's not going to apologize. And you also have to consider, this is what I'm saying. I'm playing devil's advocate. I'm not playing favorites. I'm balancing and juggling the art of the 6 degrees of Epstein desperation, because everybody wants to hang somebody. But who are you going to hang? The only person that got is now in a low minimum facility. She was moved from a maximum. So what did she give up? And now she wants clemency? Like she's going to get out? It's almost a joke. What did the Justice Department give her? In exchange for what? 200 names that they can tie to? Yeah. Or are they going to express that and leverage that out? Of course. That's why there's not going to be convictions. This is a game of leverage. This is the game of, I got this. You're going to do what I say. And if you don't do what I say, we're going to fucking throw you to the wolves and let them eat you.
Yeah.
And we'll be pouring the gasoline on top of it as we go along. See, that is how it's being done. That is how it's being played out. So people are, why is there no prosecutions? Because it's easier to twist the arm, to bend the knee, to put them in a chokehold, a submission. And by doing so, you control whatever they had access to.
Yeah, and when you have the opportunity, Trump knew this. He's like, I have an opportunity with all these people that did all this nasty shit. I have the opportunity right now on a silver platter to make my country, to make this all so good and make so much good, come and force these people to do all kinds of, like, invest billions of dollars out of their companies to make things way better for a lot of people instead of just a conviction and you get nothing else.
Yeah.
I agree.
Super
Brett.
D, the NFL is like another 3-letter agency. That's a good one. Major League Baseball, NBA, they're all controlled. It's smart. NHL, they're all controlled. It's a very good observation. They're all 3 letters.
That is funny.
That is funny. And you know what? It's true. Here we go.
These files, they feel kind of sick. I think that's a natural response.
They feel sick.
And then
they feel
ask,
icky. Icky. I feel
nothing
icky.
was done about it, or can something be done about it now? How would you respond as a seasoned federal investigator?
Well, I would. Their reaction is appropriate. It's sickening, the things that have occurred, and the other question is, why hasn't anything been done? Going after him the way it would be for anybody else could have opened a Pandora's box and a national security and global issue that we've really never seen politically, and or really any time in history. I would just tell people that you have to look at the totality of this. You may want this released, you may want something to occur, but there's obviously something more here than just a criminal who was supplying women and drugs to the powerful and the elite.
Couldn't agree more. It's so much more impactful than we're saying. And the fact is, to just say it's all about trafficking or prostitution, which we know now it's not about prostitution. It wasn't about having a private harem or an escort service. That's not what it's about. It's so much bigger. And I'm going to show you what it is as we move on, because I got to keep going. We got to get into all this other stuff. So Tim Burchett, I heard, also I heard Laura Bobart. I heard the stripper for Israel all saying Ghislaine Maxwell, all right, should not be afforded any other stuff after all the stuff we've seen. They're making all these comments all over the place. All right. Burchett goes, Ghislaine Maxwell will end up getting shot in the back of the head if she's released from prison. This is an interesting point. Listen to this.
Welcome. I believe Maxwell's attorney told everyone beforehand she wasn't going to say a word. What options does the committee have in that case?
Well, for her, nothing, ma'am. I was the one that called it, made the motion, the original motion to subpoena her. I think her attorney's advising her, as her attorney should. You know, she'll get clemency and she'll spill the beans. And I don't know. I don't see that happening. I see maybe she gets out early on good behavior and does a humongous book deal and probably ends up committing suicide by getting shot in the back of the head 5 times. Because this thing goes very deep, and the people involved in it are very powerful.
Wow, that is that is sort of shocking to even hear that. But yeah, it was a pretty messed up group of people that were doing these things, and no telling. The Clintons are set to give their depositions.
And
Go ahead.
I'm still one of those that believes Epstein didn't kill himself, ma'am. I just don't think he did.
Well, Clinton's coming in. They'll give their depositions, we think. Do you know if they're going to plead the fifth? Have they hinted at anything?
No, ma'am, but there's a reason that they're not in prison, and the reason that he was in the White House for 2 terms and she was Secretary of State, because they are very slippery and they're very smart, and I think they're an evil pair. I think she's probably the brains behind the operation.
Yeah.
But I don't think we'll get much on them. I know a lot of people are wanting us to get them, and it'll be great clickbait, I'm sure. But I think when it comes down to it, they'll either bail or they won't answer very many questions and be very evasive and be very smug. Because in this world, there are 2 forms of justice: those like the Clintons and for the rest of us. And unfortunately, I don't see them being. Everybody says we'll put them in handcuffs. All this stuff, all that's talk. The law's got to back you up on it, and we got to define what those laws were that they broke, and Congress cannot send somebody to jail. Oddly enough, a lot of congressmen probably should be in jail, but the truth is that we're not going to, I don't think it'll boil down to anything, and that's going to make a lot of people mad, but I believe that's the truth.
Welcome.
Interesting observation. I think that was really good. And he's right. She's not going to get clemency. She might get out on good behavior. She might even get the other court case for the habeas corpus appeal. And then if she gets that, she might win that. And then she's home free. And he's basically saying, well, good luck. Good luck being out there in the free world. Because if you're about to spill any beans in court or anywhere else because you're saying, hey, I'm going to give up this for that, people know full well that you just now painted a target on you. And now at this low minimum security facility, hence the name, minimum security, there's a good opportunity they can wax her ass all over the place at this place. And I wouldn't be surprised what he was suggesting is that that's what's coming up, Marshall.
Yeah.
She already put herself out there and saying, I'll give you the goods for clemency. Right. But what did she give to Todd Blanche to get this low minimum VRBO operation facility that what the fuck is she staying at? A Motel Inn?
Yeah, we're just gonna have to see how she plays out. I think that she is being just like the files themselves, the Epstein files themselves. She is also being used as a leverage, as a tool, as a leverage
yeah.
tool.
Oh,
And I'll have to
absolutely.
give Tim Burchett a lot of
Yeah.
credit because I think he's probably the only good congressman we have.
Well, at
I
least
mean,
the most, let's just say, honest congressman. He tells
Yeah.
it as he see it,
Yeah.
and he's basically saying, he's like, why would you want clemency? Because think about it. If you're going to get out on your
like
own,
admitting
if you're going to get out on your own behest for good behavior, why don't you just do that? Because the chances are you'd be less likely to get shot in the back of the head. But if you're basically exchanging information that's going to pull a bullseye on you, why would you announce that? And here's the other thing. Being at a low minimum security that she was moved to, does that open up the possibility? I mean, if Epstein was in a maximum facility holding area and he got waxed, are we to suggest that at this low minimum compound where everything's relaxed and stuff, is that someone's going to just come in there and just basically knife her, choke her to death? I mean, poison her. It's kind of odd in some way that he's saying that. But what did she give up to Blanche to get her in this position? And then what is she saying that she can give more to? To say Bill Clinton's innocent? Well, that's, with Epstein and Trump and stuff. Well, Trump's already proved that. And he said that she's evil.
Yeah,
So here we go. Bobert's coming out swinging. Listen to this shit.
Words that suggest Jeffrey Epstein and his associates could maybe even be engaging in some sort of consumption. Is that human consumption? Are there code words? There's a lot of talk of beef jerky. There's a restaurant called The Cannibal where the owner is listed in some of these documents. Now, that isn't a restaurant that is just proclaiming to serve human meat by any means. But some of this just, it seems that there's a lot of conspiracies that make you wonder. And I saw more emails about torture, and these coded conversations still have a very clear topic that torture was big. It was a big driver for them. And these were sick people doing very, very sick things.
Wow. And that's on mainstream media. And you're seeing more and more of this come out. People are starting to recognize this. They're starting to hear all this hubbub about all this other stuff that was talked about 10 years ago that no one wanted to listen. Hell, I mean, you can go around talking to people about adrenochrome during COVID. They're like, huh? What? And now it's like everybody knows about it. Trump reportedly called out police about discussing Epstein in 2006. Decried Ghislaine Maxwell's evil. You think she's still going to get some type of clemency or a pardon for what? She's not. I mean, first of all, can you even trust her? But the question is, again, Todd Blanche, what did you fucking get and glean for her to order to move her? Or did you move her here in some way that whatever she did give up, that she's going to ultimately set herself up to be whacked? Was that the deal? Was that something in place? Consider that. Okay, we'll put you in something that's low minimum. We'll put you something where it's easy to get in, easy to get out. Is that possible? While you're going through the appellate division of a habeas corpus, case? Trump dismissed sex offender Epstein as disgusting, decried procurer Maxwell as evil back in 2006. CNBC reports Trump personally called then Palm Beach Police Chief Michael Ritter, I know this guy, to tell him, thank goodness you were stopping Epstein and everybody's known about him doing this. Ritter told FBI in October 2019, according to the FBI document known as 302, the document stated whistleblower Trump was one of the very first people to call. Remember, there are discussions here that he controlled and owned, Epstein controlled and owned the Palm Beach Police Department. Think about it. He was bribing and blackmailing people left and right. The simple fact that defies the president opponents who have since spread lies and falsehoods about his relationship. Here you go. President Trump will probably sue Michael Wolff. Yeah, we know about that. And what we're understanding here is that he called to distance himself from Epstein, according to the document. So he was the leaker. He was the whistleblower. He got the hell out of there, went around Epstein with teenagers present. Ritter's name is redacted in 302, but the document identifies the interview subject as the person who's been Palm Beach police chief at the time, department investigation of this. So President Trump was the whistleblower. He was the leaker about all this information. He was the one who outed these people. He called her disgusting and evil. She is the daughter of Mossad capo, so to speak. Thank you, Thea, for the cookie. So, ultimately, what does it matter? He didn't give her any quarter. The Justice Department did. They gave her what? They just moved her from a maximum facility to a minimum. They didn't lower her sentence. They didn't give her opportunity to do this. They only did it in exchange for whatever she provided to them. And we don't know what that is. We still don't know what that is today. Pretty embarrassing.
We probably won't know.
Why would we? Why would they tell us?
I mean, that's the only reason it was done, Brett. There's no way that they did it for any other reason.
Speaking about the most embarrassing agency out there, I have to tell you right now, how I feel about Pam Bondi is irrelevant. Okay, whether she should go, she should resign and stuff. Again, I would like to suggest and always put out there prima facie that she is the face of, this Justice Department. She is there as a circus clown to do what she does while the real architects behind the scenes do their play. Think about it. You think, no, that's not true. Well, look at the testimony today. Basically, it's nuts. Holy crap, Ted Lieu desperately tried to silence Pam Bondi, and when started naming crime stats in the state, so Bondi bombed him. I got so much of this stuff. We're just going to go through it. What I'm going to say is right now, the freak show that is Congress brings in their actor, okay? The actor from the Justice Department, doing some type of thespian, overcharge embellishment of some type of Greek tragedy. Honestly, it was embarrassing to every level. Even her, some of her comments were ridiculous, but yet she had to push back because she's dealing with a bunch of freaking boneheads.
I'm glad she did it, actually.
No, I'm glad she did.
I mean, it's
she
base. I understand.
But the whole point is that it was just, when you look at it from both sides, it's embarrassing overall. It really is. That the fact is that the AG of the United States has to come in there and defend President Trump and all these other things, rather than provide the testimony and answers what they're looking to still hang him out to dry, that they can't get him on because they know now he was the whistleblower. He's the guy. There's no stink on him. There's no tomato juice necessary to wipe off the skunk spray. It's over. Here we go.
If you had any decency, you would resign right after this hearing concludes.
The gentleman has expired.
May I respond?
Yeah, I don't know how you respond. No one can.
I did not ask a question.
You're allowed to.
I did not ask a question. Crime in California. He does not want to talk about.
I did not ask a
crime
question.
in his state.
She can't just add lip stuff. I did not ask a question.
Meeting will be in order. The gentleman has yielded back his time. I think our next witness will be more than happy to let the Attorney General.
Madam Attorney General, would you like to?
Gentleman from Alabama is recognized for 5 minutes.
You have a few minutes to respond.
Thank you, Congressman. This is what Congressman Lieu didn't want to talk about. He didn't want to talk about all the crime that is happening in his state. California refuses to honor detainees because of its dangerous sanctuary city policies. The refusal means California has released 4,561 criminal illegal aliens onto its street. The crimes of these aliens include 31 homicides, 661 assaults, 574 burglaries, 184 robberies, 1,489 dangerous drug offenses, 379 weapons offenses, and 234 sexual predator offenses. That's why they are deflecting. That's why they're trying to talk about the Epstein files. That's currently happening in his home state.
Wow. Honestly, she's right to call them out. They're all hypocrites. They're all opportunists. I don't have a problem with her calling them out. I will get to the problems that I have with her later on, but she's also reading out of a book of contents of information, how to respond to each congressperson. So this is a scripted manual that she has before her and know how to respond to each person when they put up this fugazi discussion, right, when they're all complicit, they're all involved, and they're all basically trying to move the stank back onto the administration, onto her, because no one's being prosecuted in some way. They're trying to level her with all this stuff. And it's like, how is that possible? Merrick Garland stood here and he did nothing. You had the Obama administration.
Yep.
The attorney generals then, they did nothing. So all of a sudden it's her fault. So I give her the plausibility to move this forward and going after each individual person on how they want to be contempt about speaking to the AG and throwing out, rabbits out of their assholes, making pigs fly during these discussions. There you go. Jay Paul wanted Bonnie to apologize, releasing too much Epstein docs, and wanted her to apologize to survivors. Why would she doesn't need to apologize to them. Most of those broads are the 25 women that Ghislaine Maxwell and many other people reported that were paid out by billionaires and signed NDAs. And so you want her to apologize so she'll look like a boob. Why are you going to apologize to them? You're not going to apologize to people that possibly, as Anna Paulina put it, helped in some way. She basically broadened this discussions that they might be in some way complicit because they were involved with what? Procuring young girls over the age of 18 and also trafficking them. And so you want to use this as some triumphant moment to blend the narrative when those people behind you could possibly be in jail. But since they signed an NDA, collected their funds, you want what? Us to open up some type of investigation or interrogatory so the NDA could be voided? That's not going to happen. So the same survivors that just happened to be supported and funded by Reid Hoffman, Soros, Rockefeller, DNC, Dark Money, Network Tides Foundation. Trump wasn't lying when he said part of this is a hoax. It's an absolute circus. It's a shit show. This whole thing sucks. It stinks. It smells like ass, and it's getting worse and worse every day. And I feel in some way we're getting way off. We're getting way off the reservation with all this stuff. Okay? We're getting so far off the reservation, it's not even funny.
That are emblematic of the massive failure of the DOJ to comply with the Epstein Files Transparency Act. To my right is an email that was sent by the victims' lawyers to the DOJ. It was a list of names not to redact, a list of names not to release. What did the DOJ do with this email? They released this email in the document production. Literally the worst thing you could do to the survivors, you did. And
this is the guy who was the only vote the SAVE Act passed today. 215 to 214. He's the only congressman, Republican, that voted no against it. This is the congressman from Kentucky. This piece of shit. He is garbage. He's human trash. And he couldn't be out faster than anything. But this exchange, man, glorious.
They're getting phone calls. A lot of these people didn't want to be known. And we know you touched the document because you redacted one name and you redacted the lawyer's name, but you left the survivor's name there. The next document I want to show you, that was in the...
She purposely left that, or they were purposely left out, because I do believe in some way they know they were part of the procurement process. Maybe Ghislaine was suggesting and intimating to Todd Blanche information that these women, as she knows full well, aren't so innocent. As she stated before, and her own attorney said the other day, 25 of these broads got paid out by billionaires. And they were also, let's put it this way, not as innocent as they portray themselves. I think that is what she gave up. And this is the reason why it's quite plausible to suggest, I don't have any information to say otherwise, that they did this purposefully for that reason. Because they can never go after them, but expose them point blank. Because maybe at another opportune time, that information shall come out.
Title, the victims, survivors' names, all right? The title of this one is Child Sex Trafficking, Co-Conspirators, Fully Redacted. And by the way, I'm going to unredact them here. Les Wexner is in this. Now, your your deputy attorney general said, oh, well, he appears hundreds of times in the files. But he doesn't appear in this file until I forced you to release it, where he's listed as a co-conspirator.
There we go.
Not to tax evasion, but to child sex trafficking, not to prostitution, not to money laundering, child sex trafficking. And then finally, what we have here is the third exhibit that I have is emblematic of the FD 302 release. These are the and I have several questions. As
Finish my answer. Come on, let me finish my answer. We corrected that within 40 minutes. He was already, you're acting like everybody's trying to cover up Wexner's name.
Reclaiming my time.
I'm going to answer this question.
Reclaiming my time.
He was,
Mr. Chairman.
This is how this works.
Can I have my time? Mr. Chairman.
The gentlelady can give her answer. The time belongs to the gentleman from
All right, I'm reclaiming my time.
Can I give my answer?
So I'm going to put the language of the bill up on the screen.
Chairman, may I give my answer on that? It's a political joke, and I need to give my answer on that.
We'll let the Attorney General respond, and then the gentleman can move to his next question.
It's my time.
Within 40 minutes, you asked me a question. Within 40 minutes, Wexner's name was added back.
Within 40 minutes of me catching you red-handed.
There was one redaction out
Where
of
he's
over
listed
40.
as a
He's making him look like a fool.
And we invited you in. This guy has Trump
Gentlemen.
derangement syndrome. He needs to go to a family conversation.
Chairman, please restore his
All
time.
Come on!
It's just crazy. It's just what I'm saying. It's just all right. Are we gonna move it forward?
I think she ran circles around him, Dave, and I think she purposely did it.
Well, yeah.
It's always been a circus up there, Brett. We know that.
Right. Democrats have never cared about Epstein or ever mentioned him during the Biden administration, but attack on Trump when they know it's been cleared, and even by their own biased mainstream media. These same people won't even tell you that they spent time with Epstein. Epstein took money from him, or the people mentioned in the Epstein files. That is true. Now you understand why they attacked Trump and they funded. This is why I think the argument is about this is not going to happen. Lutnick is basically going to be like, fuck you. I know for a fact you were there at the island. We all do. And so you want me to resign? Listen to this.
I find it interesting that she keeps going after President Trump, the greatest president in American history. And if they could maintain their composure, this isn't a circus, this is a hearing. I find it interesting she keeps going after Donald Trump. She doesn't say how much money she took from Reid Hoffman, did you? And nor did
Mr.
she
Chairman,
post
regular
anything.
order, please.
She
Regular order.
posted nothing on her X account, on her Twitter account during the Biden years. I find it.
Now that was some freaking like 12 gauge,
it's a little bit
double
of it.
barrel shotgun. I mean, that was just awesome. I got to move this forward. I'm running behind. All right. I got to keep it going. Hold on.
I think she deliberately fucking went up there to fuck him up.
Well, she has this book of contents that she can use to go after these people. Pam Bondi, Thomas.
So do they. So do they.
Yeah, no, I know.
You too.
No, I know. I'm not. So, media, I apologize to radio. Okay, so a radio host, conservative radio host, is pissed off at Bondi and says that she should resign or be fired. This is conservative radio host because of her House hearing flub. Eric Erickson said Attorney General Pam Bondi should quit or be canned. She said lawmakers and American citizens should be celebrating the stock market smashing records. Now, this is one thing. I'm not saying she should resign or be fired. Like I said, she's playing a part. She's here as a mitigating actor or actress for a certain role. She's playing the part of Attorney General. But she fixated on the files to Jeffrey Epstein, and I think this is what got people really upset with her, because as soon as they asked her about Epstein, she's like, why are we focused on the stock market? Why aren't we focused on this? And even though she may be right 100%, it is not her place to talk about that type of theater. The reality is, Epstein is a one-way trip to hell. And you know what? Some of us are going to get off of this. Others are just going to die landing and stuck there. That's the problem. And that's where we are with this. This thing is going to implode everywhere, and it's going to take down so many different people. And the idea is, when do you decide to get off this fucking train? This train that's never ending, that's going to head-on collision, and it's going to fucking take down so many people. You better be mindful of that. Here we go.
The Dow right now is over. The Dow is over $50,000. I don't know why you're laughing. You're a great stock trader, as I hear around.
Deliberate, Brett.
The Dow is over
It's deliberate.
1,000 right now. The S&P at almost 7,000. And the NASDAQ smashing records. Americans' 401ks and retirement savings are booming. That's what we should be talking about. We should be talking about making Americans safe. We should be talking about, what does a Dow have to do with anything? That's what they just asked. Are you kidding?
Go ahead, Marshall. I'm just...
Man, I'll tell you what.
That was one of the bothersome things I've saw today, especially out of her mouth. I mean, it really drove me crazy. I'm like, they're asking you about Epstein and you're talking about the market.
Well,
I understand where you're going with that.
It's great that she did that, because
Well, she did. But that's the point. You're supposed to there. I understand why you're there, and you don't want to give in to these people. But you're either the attorney general or you're the press spokesman for the White House. Is she both? That's why a lot of people lose confidence in her. And I think a lot of people were pissed off by the way her rhetoric was, specifically about that.
I think she's definitely supposed to do this, because she definitely talked to Trump about all this before she went here. There's no way.
Right.
Because all she did there when she pivoted to talking about the stock market instead of Epstein was, now what is it going to do, Brett? It's just going to make these people say, we want more of the Epstein files.
I know.
We want more. We want more. We want all the
It's the
names.
most base distraction out there. Everything that is happening, they passed the SAVE Act in the House. Apparently, they also passed in the House 217 to 211 to end Canadian tariffs. I guess they don't want this country to survive. I mean, they just want us to be railroaded by Canada. I mean, it's just crazy that this takes place. It'll never see the light of day, because if it ever makes it to Trump's desk, it'll be vetoed. Trump one gifted the cookie. Pill for Tia. Yes, thank you, Tia. One Thunder, thank you for the can. Let's see, who else is here? I want to give some thank yous. Thea for the can. Thea for the cookie. Trump one gifted the cookie. Super D pills for my homie. Thea for the can. Thank you for supporting the platform, Thea. I hope you got my email today. Thea donated 300 gold pills. Another 300 gold pills. Trump one gifted the cookie. Curious Cat gifted the cookie. Thea, another cookie. All right, here we go. So I think in some way, as we move on, let's continue with this, because we got to move into Bannon. I'm getting the feeling that this is Awaken Outlaw, that there's a good chance Bannon, with the background in Navy intelligence, was involved with Epstein under the cover. There's all this stuff about Bannon. He had sulfuric acid in his Miami place. There's a lot of stuff that's saying that he's part of this and that he helped Epstein to take down President Trump with the populist movement. So Awaken Outlaw says was involved with Epstein under deep cover. He was a mole. He was a plant. He was there to what? Cipher information. That's what they're saying. I realize there's a lot to unpack in that scenario, but this move appears, at least to me, to send that message. Todd Blanche today, Justice Department told Supreme Court that Steve Bannon's conviction arising from the January 6th Unselect Committee improper subpoena should be vacated. Now, if Bannon, and I'm going to, like I said, I'm not buying or selling this. Take Bannon as a stock price. Is the stock going down? Yes, it is going down. None of these questions are being asked on a show. No one's coming out directly, but this is being played out over social media. But yet the other day, the Justice Department said they're going to vacate the subpoena and that led to his 4-month incarceration for January 6th on the Unselect Committee. Now, why would they do that in some way if he was working with Epstein? Remember, he's got video footage that we haven't seen. He's got all this testimony and side stuff we haven't seen. I bet you that's all classified. We're never going to see that. And here's the other thing. What if this is being projected? I'm not taking a side on this. All right. His stock is dropping. What if he was a plant in some way? What was he there to do? To sabotage, to get involved, to find out what their plans were? What was he trying to do in some way? MJ Truth puts this out because there's a lot of people on X that are going after Steve Bannon on so many different ways and attacking him. And they want to know, was this guy working to take down President Trump? According to the emails, yes. But again, they're suggesting that the pile-on is something more because everybody's piling on and saying, we're not really sure who's involved here. I don't know in any way. It doesn't look good for Steve, but what are your present thoughts on Steve Bannon? He doesn't seem terribly concerned. And you know what the other thing is? If this was real to the point where it's reached such high capacity, I think Rav would ask him to step down and take some time off. But that didn't happen. This 10 o'clock show continues on. So me thinks in some way, not everything is what it appears.
That's right.
Not so good appears he was in cahoots with Epstein to take Trump out. This is MJ Truth. Or was he a mole? Again, this is the speculation. These are the emails. Surprise, surprise, Homer, Gomer. News is tightening around Donald Trump. I mean, look, I'm not saying one way or another. I don't even have any type of, I think that what bothers me so much is that people like to go on that deep walk on that plank over the cliff. And they want to peer down so far and say, I'm going to jump on this. All right. And I'm just going to go after and say, I got the goods. And he was trying to take down Trump. And that's why Trump kicked him out. And, you know, all the stuff with Kushner and Ivanka and all this other stuff. I'm just saying right now, here's the Washington Examiner. They're putting this out, Marshall. They're saying, hey, look, why would in some way they do this to dismiss Bannon's contempt indictment if in some way he's connected to Epstein and try to take down Trump? Is this a bribe? What is this about? Does this make any sense? What is this saving face in some way? Is this saving a certain part of MAGA base, or is this a bone to throw to people to say, hey, look, or a dog whistle to say to people, hey, look, not everything is what you're thinking. I just don't understand. Peter Navarro is best friends with Bannon. He serves in the administration as the White House trade advisor. He's on his show all the time. In fact, when he got out of jail, he did Bannon's show for 4 months. Do you think in some way that Peter Navarro would be kicked out in some way because of his connection with Bannon? If Bannon was involved with all this stuff? I'm just surmising another thought process. I neither know or have relevant information to provide one way or another. All I could say is right now, his stock looks bad. So if I was buying Bannon stock, I'd be selling it left and right because it doesn't look good. And everybody's out speculating. And so that's where the fluctuation of like, was he not? You have Roger Stone saying, all right, he had a Miami condo or a residence where sulfuric acid was bought, or it looked like that the jacuzzi was damaged from this. He was saying that he was disposing of bodies with sulfuric acid, just like Epstein was doing. I'll get to that. What's your thoughts about this? Because I got this guy, Guitar Anon. He puts out something that's really interesting, Marshall, and then we'll get your thoughts. He says this, let's talk about Bannon. I'm not here to support or prove anything. I agree with that 100%. I am not here to support or prove anything with the attention being put on Bannon Epstein. I think it's prudent to step back and look at the big picture. That I agree. My hunch is that Bannon was in comms with Epstein as a mole. Okay. I'm not saying that because I don't have that information. He is speculating. This is conjecture. He's postulating a theory. If you look at Trump, Bannon, Epstein timeline below, it would seem that Trump and DOJ are still favoring Bannon, even after these new files came out. Yes, that is something which is like you can't reject that and saying, why? Why would Trump do that? You know, Trump, he will gut you like a motherfucker if you betray him. Eye for an eye, bitches. He said that on Larry King. He's made that point relevant. So if Bannon betrayed him in any way, you know he would be gutting this motherfucker. Or is this something else? Trump pardoned Bannon after Epstein was long dead. Now the DOJ is possibly going after to dismiss his contempt charge after all the Epstein files are about him. Heck, just a few days ago, Trump posted a picture of Bannon and Navarro seemingly praising him, and it stands to reason that anyone seemingly in cahoots with the world's most renowned child abuser shouldn't be afforded all these legal luxuries. Look at Maxwell. She ain't getting clemency. She ain't getting the pardon. And it wasn't President Trump or the White House that pushed her into a cozy, luxurious, minimum VRBO facility. All right? That was the Justice Department. So here we are, unless he earned them. So what I'm saying is, this is Guitar Anon. Now I'm not being Bannon fan. I don't watch a show or engage in that corner of X. He seems to need some hygiene coaching. Yes, he needs a haircut. He needs better clothing. He needs to lose weight, take a fucking shower, not be a grease monkey. But I'm not dead set pinning on him to be a black hat. Matt, just yet. Not without more investigations to know why. He hooked up with Epstein after he resigned, only to be pardoned. I think it's a good point. I don't know why that the White House and the Justice Department would be moving in this way to vacate his conviction. And the other thing is, you got to consider, Navarro is friends with him. Navarro knows a lot. You think President Trump is going to push Navarro out too? Is this something else, Marshall? Are we not getting the bigger picture? Those tapes that he had with the recordings, people are like, where's all the tapes? Where's all the file? Where's all that stuff that's classified? Who's got it? Maybe not the Justice Department because they're not going to release it. Or maybe they do.
I mentioned the other night on the last show that, Bannon was basically kind of a protege or under or a partner or whatever with Andrew Breitbart.
Mm-hmm.
And Andrew Breitbart actually was really involved with Israel. He got some funding from Israel, as a matter of fact. But he also was kind of over there, I think Andrew Breitbart was over there because Andrew Breitbart he knew Hollywood. He lived there. He knew all of that shit. So he went to Israel and did some digging. That's why they killed him. You see? And I believe there's no way in my mind. Now, if I'm wrong, that's fine. But I don't think no way. Bannon is carrying on Andrew Breitbart's legacy, in my opinion. He knows.
Okay. I mean, like I said, I'm looking at Bannon as a stock. Do I sell, hold, or buy?
I get it.
Do I sell, hold, or buy? And Guitar Anarin saying I would hold. That's what he's saying.
I would hold. That's where I would.
You look at Bannon as a stock. Is it dropping? Yes.
I'm still holding.
But are you still holding? That is the question. That's how you should look at these people and these emails. I'm not defending him. I'm not supporting him. I'm just saying, are we seeing both of this? Because we're getting different comms from different sides. Why would the White House want to vacate his 4-month thing? There's a lot of people saying his grift and graft with what took place with the border wall and Miles Gow, that he was arrested on the boat. There's so many things. Are we saying that he's a paid infiltrator to expose some of these people? I don't know. I don't know where we're going with this. It doesn't look good. Is it Con Inc. per se? Jack Posobiec, another plant, another CIA op.
Yeah,
I mean, he's another guy that's in that theater. Another Navy guy, intelligence. Magnum PI. I mean, think of what Magnum PI was, Navy intelligence. Spook ops, all these people. These are before the CIA per se, and thereafter. So what was their involvement? Would USA donating 817 gold pills? Need more gold pill love. Support the boy stream. Thank you. I saw something in here. Someone said something. Why doesn't Bannon come out and explain himself? I think the reason he's not going to do that because you want to let this play out in the theater of the battle on social media. You don't want to, in some way, defend yourself. And I would say that he's probably recognizing legally, from a standpoint, he probably shouldn't say anything and let it all play out.
Yeah.
Will it systematically die
Right.
on its own? Yeah, because if he really was a mole, as Guitar Anon is suggesting, and many other people are alluding, it's quite plausible that you don't want to tip your hand and you want to continue on with the narrative and be the fall guy, be the bad guy. You know what I'm saying? You know, the bad man, the sad man. You want to be that. You want to be that guy. Yes, loyalty is number one for Trump. Yes, deep cover operatives definitely need someone to do them, as bad as it is. One thunder, some people had to do some bad things to find out. Yeah. I mean, Roger Stone is going ham, hates him, saying, yeah, he was burning kids' bodies alive in a jacuzzi in Miami. Wow. I mean,
that's
I mean, it's just, well, I mean, look, Epstein bought all the sulfuric acid. Who's to say that there are not bodies around Zorro Ranch and we haven't even got to that? And that is going to wake people up. My God, if that's going to come
actual
out.
proof that he had bought acid and all that. Come on.
Yes, I have something from Slay News. I'll get to it. Transgender shooter in Canada leaves dead, 10 people, 25 wounded. I'll just leave it with that. We got to move on. How many people need to be killed? We stop the trans madness. Asked activist billboard Chris Elson. Yeah, that's the bottom line. I mean, they don't go away. They just come out in all these different areas, but we got to move on. So you know that these people are everywhere. They're everywhere. And you know what? The more and more you want to continue on the surgeries, Canada wants to continue on with doing all this crazy stuff. Well, good luck with that. Holy shizzles. Fulton County, Georgia FBI affidavit confirms election records in Fulton County's 2020 vote count was manipulated. Wait till the people find out about this. How is this going to be broadcasted? I mean, is it going to be the Justice Department is going to put this through? Is it going to be Tulsi Gabbard? How is this going to be addressed? Is it going to be through the Supreme Court? How is this announcement going to come out? Only 16 tabulators out of an expected much larger number were used to generate closing data for about 315,000 ballots. Wow, 138 provided poll tapes. This extreme concentration improperly funneled through a small set of machines breaking chain of custody rules. Review machine logs indicated memory cards were likely removed. Many closing poll tapes, essential documents that were verified at the end of the day. Totals, each of the polling sites were entirely missing. Wow. Without these, there's no way to confirm the votes were added. They're fraud. It was discovered that the tabular data appeared to cover ballots from several different polling sites, which shouldn't happen under normal procedures. This suggests intentional mixing of the data streams, which leads to duplicative votes, misplaced ballots, or hidden errors. Wow. Tabulators showed mismatch or anomalous the timestamps in their logs, such as dates and times that didn't align with the actual election events. This could be indicating backdata editing, unauthorized access after the polls. How about that one? Auditors assisting in the risk-limited auditing report, counting purported absentee ballots that had never been creased or folded, as would be required for the ballot to be mailed. Wow. Here we go. This is it. Game over, ladies and gentlemen. Once 2020 will be revealed that Georgia helped steal the election, covered it up. The Raffensperger, the governor, and many other people that helped steal it. People will raise holy hell. There are going to be riots. There should be riots. You should want to burn down Georgia, Fulton County, pitchforks. Where are the people rioting and protesting? There. What is it going to take? What is it going to need to take? Because, ladies and gentlemen, we're in a Civil War 2.0, and it ain't going away. And it's going to get ugly. Go ahead,
The problem with Fulton County is it's Atlanta, Georgia, basically.
Mhm.
And that's Hood City.
Yeah.
So you're not going to, I mean, they can't even control themselves in a store.
Right.
So forget about it. I mean, the places, don't ever go near Atlanta if you can. Avoid
It's
that.
garbage. I've been to Atlanta. It's garbage.
Oh, God.
Oh, it is. It's garbage.
And
Honestly.
it's so corrupt and it's so ghetto.
Yeah.
I'll leave that alone.
Yeah. I'm not going to say anymore. I'll be. Oh, by the way, the Redfin founder that we covered on the other day that did the propaganda show that paid out that advertisement for the Super Bowl, he's Jewish, ladies and gentlemen. So again, another bagel that was putting out gaslighting white people are racist and utilizing certain terminology in real estate terms like steering and other things to illegally proffer another. He should have his license. His company should be brought down. The FCC should sue him. The SEC should go after him for violating those laws. There are laws on the books that you cannot violate, all right, for discrimination. And I believe in some way that gaslighting that took place over the weekend in the Super Bowl at Redfin founder, who's a bagel, that he was putting that out, was what? He was dividing us and conquering us simultaneously by saying, that we're racist, that we do this in these areas, and the reason why. And, I push back about that. I had some people say to me, it's like, it's not necessarily what you're saying isn't true. However, it's stuff we're being divided simultaneously. And I agree with that. There's red ants and black ants all put in a jar and shook up. And that's the bottom line for us to eat each other. That's the bottom line. Are all black people bad? No. Are all Hispanic people bad? No. Are all white people racist? No. But the idea that they want to convince you and gaslight you through that propaganda and agitprop really pulls the hair out, because when you statistically look at the numbers, it's all fugazi. And you get it and I get it. Here we go. Epstein jail guards use fake body to trick media waiting outside the prison while pedophilia real corpse was loaded into a van. Unnoticed, the files claimed. Did anybody see this? I caught this. I was scrolling through this and I'm like, what the fuck? So he did survive. Jail guards overseeing Epstein used a decoy body to mislead reporters gathered outside the prison after his death, while his real corpse was secretly removed in a separate vehicle, newly unsealed file. Dude, he's alive. He is so fucking alive. Charlie Kirk, he's alive too. Hey, look, I watched the Lionel Nation. That guy, he is just as tight as anything. He's already putting out, is Charlie Kirk alive? Probably. Is Epstein alive? Yeah. Most likely, in some way, we could consider most people like Michael Jackson still alive. He was putting out all this stuff. And that guy was a former prosecutor who was just like this tight. His sphincter is probably just like this, that he doesn't come out and say shit like that. But he's saying Charlie Kirk, probably alive. Most likely. Compartmentalization. Epstein, after seeing this, who cannot believe that? The file alleges that boxes and sheets were arranged to assemble a human body loaded in a white van. Can you believe this, Marshall? Martha's belonging to the Office of Chief Medical Examiner. I mean, look, I don't know what do you think about this? I mean, we share some of the same.
Yeah, I mean, he is probably still alive.
Right.
As well as Charlie Kirk.
Mm-hmm.
Whether Erica was part of that whole thing, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
There's a lot of bad things that I'm seeing about her and all that.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Taking down the wedding picture and putting the Talmud thing up there. And so who knows? Who the hell knows?
Right.
We can only wait and just see. We have to just really, all we can do, Brett, and everybody, is we have to just play this out like we're reading a book or watching a long movie, and don't stress over it. Just let the chapters go by every day, and then just, take it in, and that's it.
A lot of people over here on Rumble, and they're like, Tracer says, I don't believe Charlie Kirk. Epstein, yeah. Okay. Well, I believe they're all alive. That's just my personal opinion. Lyle's funny, but truthful. Yeah, when you got Lyle Nation coming out and saying that, swinging hard like that, yeah, I think Charlie found a way to depart from Erica. Absolutely. I think that was the key. I think there are a lot more things that were, I think his marriage was arranged and set up, and he was probably forced into this unaware. There are other things that we just, it's a tough thing to swallow. That's why she's pushing for a faster measure of Fourth Amendment or Sixth Amendment justice. for Tyler Robertson. She wants a speedy trial. Yeah, she wants to get this guy executed. I think he's going to get off. That's what she wants, media in the court to make sure that they don't get away with any of this stuff. He's going to get off. There is no way you could buy into any of this stuff. Awaken Outlaw. This is going to be a punch for the public square in the gut. Yes, if they find bodies given away, what we know now occurred, as well as sheer amount of land around the house, that's Zora Ranch. If so, things will quickly accelerate as far as the public exposure goes. Hate to say it, but the truly awful sensationalism of it all, an effective vehicle in regards to waking the public up to what Epstein and his ilk were up to. In fact, already happening. Zora Ranch emails about the alleged burials of victims on Epstein's Zora. That's why I'm saying no statute of limitations. So did they do it? Have they done it? Are they currently under the auspices of excavating this thing? I don't know. She does the whole thing. I'm out of time, so I'm just going through it in some way. Yes, this will obviously speed up the process in some way to move this Epstein thing into another level. You got bodies all over the property. You're talking serial killer. You're talking something even more profound. Marshall.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, well, I said it a minute ago. I mean, the only thing we can do is really just kind of let this people, you know, I see so many people online that are just like every little thing that happens, they have this knee-jerk reaction. You can't do that. You have to just take it in and go, let me sit back and let me soak this in and see how it plays out every day. This is what we're in, folks.
Right.
Otherwise, you would drive yourself out of your fucking mind.
That's why people are like, well, why is there any prosecutions? This is the slow walk for the awakening of people. You have to awaken the people.
Yep.
To get them what? As motivated and frustrated and angry, just like the fucking NGOs that are paying these crazy liberal women in fucking Minnesota to want to kill ICE agents, to want to defend the balloon head Somalis. I mean, all this nonsense. You want to get people so riled up that they will demand it, that they want to burn shit down. Burn it all down.
It's got to get to that point, Brett.
It's got to get to that point. You got to have that fever. We haven't even touched the connections. I mean, look how people feel about Israel and Jews. Well, you know what? If you got problems with that today, I'm going to go back being a Catholic. Carrie Bowler kicked off the Religious Liberty Commission after defending Christians for religious liberties. Catholic activist Carrie Perjean Bowler was booted off the White House Religious Liberty. What the fuck is going on, President Trump? After using her position to defend Christians' religious liberties and point out who's threatening them. The Zionists, the Jews, the bagels. I haven't seen a nuclear missile bigger and better and bolder coming from Iran that would just touch down on Israel and really shut this thing on a blaze. They want to go. They want a war. Look out. They are going to be fucking destroyed. Carrie Perjean Bowler has removed from President Trump's Religious Liberty Commission. Texas Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick wrote on Wednesday, "What are you doing, Dan Patrick? No member of the commission has the right to hijack a hearing for their own personal and political agenda. Fuck you. You're siding with the Jews and the Zionists. This is clearly, without question, what happened Monday in our hearing of anti-Semitism in America." See, this is the point. This is what they convinced 38 states. If you say anything negative, you push back. It is right in your face. Perjean Bowler has been removed from President Trump's Religious Liberty Commission. This should really make you piss. Sorry, President Trump.
It's supposed to, though.
This really, if you don't put her back on, this is something that I'm going to fucking freak out about. This is something that you will have me, all right, being fucking pissed about, all right? Why is she removed? Because you got a bunch of fucking bagels on there who don't like her commentary. Freedom of expression, freedom of religion. How fucking dare you? In the absence of what? Anything that's rhetorical and that's, let's just say, serious? She gets kicked off of what? Defending her First Amendment rights And we're sitting at this point dealing with all these First Amendment issues, and yet she gets kicked off of his religious liberty team. That's embarrassing. This is clearly, without question, what happened Monday in our hearing on anti-Semitism in America. Well, fuck that. The commission has done outstanding work with 5 hearings, 2 more scheduled. The testimony has been illuminating and heartbreaking on the Biden administration. Whatever. This spring, the commission will deliver one of the most important reports in American history. Well, if you don't put her back on, no one's going to really fucking care. And if you're basically saying that that what she was saying, and we're going to play it. We're going to play it because as a former Catholic, as someone who's basically just reformed, whatever, I find this insulting. Listen to this exchange. Man, you can't hate these people more enough. We should pray every day that fucking Iran doesn't listen. They say, you know what? We're not going to fucking capitulate. Go ahead, hit us. And we're just going to destroy Israel. And we should just sit back and let it happen.
Yep.
Because if Netanyahu wants to go to the White House to beg for support, what he's not begging is about hitting them before they hit them. He's saying is that he's asking them, will you come and defend us after we do hit them? Because we will be destroyed. That's the conversation.
Yep.
And he's basically saying, no, I'm not doing that. But you can go right ahead and do whatever you want.
People anti-Semites. Catholic Christianity does not in any way require you to embrace Zionism as a fulfilled prophecy. So what I've heard today is that if you don't support Zionism, you are an anti-Semite. I'm a Catholic, and Catholics do not embrace Zionism, just so you know.
No, we don't.
Are all Catholics anti-Semites, according to you?
As I said, anti-Zionism.
So just to be clear, are Catholics anti-Semites?
I'm going to interrupt the discussion. Our committee is focused on religious liberty taken from all people.
Fuck these people.
Right, but we're talking about a foreign nation, so I want to be clear on what the definition of anti-Semitism is. I don't support the political state of Israel. Am I an anti-Semite? Yes or no?
Fuck you.
They already answered. Ask and answer.
No, they did not.
According to you on the record, yes? I don't agree with that because as a Catholic, I don't agree that
good for you.
The new modern state of Israel has any biblical prophecy meaning at all.
Shame,
so
shame.
That's my stance.
Shame. What a bunch of fucking hypocrites. Shame, Trump administration. You're allowing this to happen. Shame. Brett, now have a whiskey and calm down. Laugh out loud. Oh, you're being funny. Okay. You want me to calm down?
This is what has to happen, Brett. You're pissed off?
You're going to tell me that I shouldn't be pissed off about this?
No. I'm
the
saying
hypocrisy is
you
just
absolutely should be pissed off as hell. But this is what has to happen. I'm not saying that Dan Patrick was in on this whole thing because he's a piece of shit.
Yeah, he is.
He's paid off. He's bought off.
He's those Bush rhinos.
But the beauty of it all is that this woman ain't going to go nowhere. This is part of what we just talked about before this segment, is that there's so many idiots out there that they go to the store, they go to work, and they don't pay attention to anything else around. This here is showing people you've got to get it in people's head.
Yeah.
That you are not here to serve. You have been paying your whole life taxes. You never get anything back. And when you retire on Social Security, who's been doing that? Who are the people behind it? The banks, the Rothschilds, yada, yada. So this, to me...
Casey Snowman says the bagels control everything. They still do. Yeah, I mean, in some or lesser degree. I mean, you can make the argument about Lutnick. That's what a lot of people are saying. If he wasn't Jewish, would he still be there? It's a good argument. Would he still be there and not resign? It's a good argument. It's a very good argument. And the fact that he is Jewish and he's still there makes a better argument. But again, here we are. We're at loggerheads about this, and I find it disgusting. I'm sure there's more to the story, Alita. There's a lot of rats in his administration. We've been praying Trump will be protected, make holy decisions. Demons are influencing some of his cabinet. It's like a soap opera. The waters are so muddled, we can only speculate. Yeah, balloon heads, you like that. Yeah, that's my thing about these people, balloon heads. Toothless balloon heads or one-tooth balloons. Yeah, when I look at what just took place and stuff, as we talk about First Amendment rights all over the time, redress of grievances. the right to assemble, which is not the right to protest or riot, the right to free speech, the right to religion. So she doesn't have a right as a Catholic to speak her mind and call out the hypocrisy.
That's what I'm saying.
That the Jews like to control through legal means. And she called them out straight to their face as hypocrites.
Yes.
And if you side with these people, these fucking disgusting bagels, oh, I'm praying every day. Come on, Iran.
That's what it was.
Just
all
hit
about.
him. But look, because if Netanyahu's begging Trump to come to his aid,
fuck him.
Fuck him. Because you know what they're going to do. They're going to go and do it.
Let him.
And let him do it. And he's like, yeah, go ahead. That's why they're headed to the Middle East. They know Israel's going to hit them. And they're just going to sit back, watch this whole thing unfold.
Yep.
And there you go.
And everybody sees it.
And everybody sees it. Yep. And
Wood
everybody's
USA is right.
Yep.
Don't
I
talk
think
about
that's
the
exactly
Jew.
it.
Wood said, don't talk about the Jew. Exactly.
Yep.
She just talked about the Jew.
She called them out.
And that's a good thing.
Yep. It's a very good thing. The fact that she's being removed, man.
It's actually even
Shame
better.
on the Trump administration allowing all this nonsense. Where are the Christians in the Trump administration pushing back on this nonsense? It's gone too far with this anti-Semitism nonsense. There's a reason why they hate you. Why don't you recognize that? Just recognize it. And if you do, first of all, we need to rescind all these fucking laws. These anti-Semitic laws, they're going to have to go away. But I guess more and more they're delineated out over time. They won't even matter. They'll just be on the books as something out of 100 years and be useless. But I think in some way, why don't we have anti-Christian laws on the books? Why don't we have anti-Catholic laws on the books?
Those questions are coming, Brett, I think.
Why can't we have, if we're going to have anti-Semitic laws and I have to take your bullshit of what you just said, why can't I be, as a Christian, anti-Christian laws? Why can't I be protected from you?
Exactly.
You disgusting, dirty, slimy, filthy rat. Why can't I be protected from you? Why does your Talmud fucking what? Dictionary overtake my Old Testament? And I use the Old Testament, not the New Testament.
Yep.
I want that, God. Fire and brimstone. Burn it all down. That's the God I want.
Eye for an eye.
I want the eye for an eye God. I want to be able to stick one in your fucking eye and pull it out. Maybe munch on it like a fucking olive. I want that God. Fuck you. I'm disgusted with the Trump administration right now. First time ever. I don't care about Bondi. I don't care about Lutnick. I don't care about Epstein. I don't care about any of that stuff. But if you want to fucking slam down on Christianity and Catholicism and say that Jews can say, oh, it's anti-Semitic to be Catholic, motherfucker, I got ropes. I got ropes, pitchforks. We can go back to the good old days. I'll get the holy water because I'm sure the vampires are out there that exist will definitely cringe at that. Fuck you. Trump administration better do something about it. This is a blowback they should not look away from. If you're listening out there, I'm telling you, fix this. Correct this. No one cares about Lutnick. I don't care if he stays or goes. I don't even care about Bondi because I already know what this whole thing is about. But this shit with religion, they don't get to tell us what to do. Where's our Christian values? Where's our Christian laws to protect us from them? This administration better fucking wake the fuck up because you're being called out every day. As proxies for Israel, as proxies for Jews, and people are seeing it because of Epstein and everything else going on. And if you're going to allow this nonsense to this woman, it's going to be pushed out. Shame on you. Shame on you. Where's Pam Bondi on this? Calling this out. She should be prosecuting those people and saying, wait a minute, she has a First Amendment right to say that. How dare you? It's insulting. I haven't got off my high arch yet. Brett, we just call him, we're just the Goyim. Yep. Goyim, Shikses, whatever.
I think what's being presented to everyone around the world in this country is that how long are you going to beat up Christians? How long are you Christians going to take getting beat up?
Right.
How long are you going to keep taking it? That's what I'm seeing. We're being, you look how mad you are, Brett, because you're like, why are you beating me up? Why am I not allowed to talk about you, but you can beat me up because I'm a Christian? And I think that the Christians of the world are going to say to themselves, why are we being beat up all the time? I think that's what's going on.
Well, the truth is, one thunder reflects back on Trump, and if he's not in control, really, that's a good point. Damn, Brett. Damn what? Saving Israel for last, yeah.
Well, we're all being
the tribe of
beat up.
Israel, we're not all Semites. The tribe of Judah was a different matter. Most Jews are not Semites at all. Yeah, I understand that. But that's not what I'm talking about here. I'm not going to get into the Judahites, the Semites. I'm not getting into
DNA and all that.
That's not what I'm talking about here. I'm talking about the discussion we just had as it reflects upon the anti-Christian, anti-Catholic viewership by supposed Jews, whether they're Semites or not. It's irrelevant. And the fact is that we have so many laws on the books that they want to keep extending and expanding that we can't say anything, especially when they're raping young kids. That's why they're putting that stuff on the books. That's why they have these laws on the books, because it all goes back to what? The bagels. There is such a connection. Ehud Barak, Israel, Mossad, doesn't matter. That's why they have all these things on the books, because they know we would be what? Burning them at the stake. We'd be putting them up there on the cross where Christ was and lighting them on fire. You damn well know it. You damn well know it. There we go. Rock history, baby. Now, it's funny that this came up. Thomas and I did shows on this years ago. And I reported on something that on True Reporting that I said that they reopened the FBI. This was about during the time of COVID, I would say, at least, that the FBI reopened an investigation of questioning the suicide narrative that the Seattle police put forth, or the police department did at the Washington did. And they wanted to look at this over because they still had doubts. So according to new investigations, Kurt Cobain, so this is a great song. That's why I put that out there. Something in the way. He was in the way. What was he in the way of? That's why he wrote that song. Kurt Cobain's death was a murder. Conspiracy theories have persisted for decades surrounding Kurt Cobain's death in 94. This wasn't until about 2021, I believe, that they started to really re-examine the case overall, claiming the scene was staged or that the note was forged, even as Seattle police and the medical examiner continued to stand by the original ruling of a suicide. Yes, he was jammed in with all the drugs, and then what? And then they shot him. And then it looked like he shot himself being high. His death shocked fans and had a huge impact. Now, I also believe there's a testimony of this on the music world because there are witnesses. But decades later, the final moments of Nirvana frontman Kurt Cobain are being analyzed once again. You have to consider his bandmates, the lead singer of the Foo Fighters, his involvement with his production company, and all these other things. Unofficial team from the private sector made up of forensic scientists reviewed the autopsy and materials from the scene, and also included Brian Burnett, a specialist who previously worked on cases of overdose due to gunshot trauma. According to the Daily Mail, independent investigator Michelle Wilkins, who collaborated with the team, told the Daily Mail that after 3 days of examining the evidence with a fresh perspective, Burnett said, "This is murder." She said this conclusion came after a detailed analysis of the autopsy findings, which showed signs of inconsistent with instant death from a shotgun blast. The peer-reviewed article presented 10 pieces of evidence suggesting that Cobain was confronted by one or more attackers who first administered a heroin overdose to incapacitate him. Well, then how would he be able to pull the trigger You wouldn't, because if you're that high, there is no way you could be able to what? Put a shotgun in your mouth or blow your head off. And then one of them shot him in the head, placed the gun in his arm, left a fake suicide note. Burnett has decades of experience analyzing crime scenes and interpreting the complex evidence. He has gained national recognition for his analysis of the controversial cases regarding the death of Navy Colonel James Sabo, the investigation of Billy Joe Johnson Jr., where his meticulous forensic reconstructions challenged the official conclusions. The new autopsy on Cobain reveals a series of tests that led to the belief that his death was not a suicide. Wilkins argued that Cobain could have been physically incapacitated before the fatal shot. Boom. And according to her, the size and mechanism of the gun made it possible for Cobain, who was in a coma, to use it. She also cited blood samples that suggest the body may have been moved. The top part of the letter was written by Kurt, Wilkins said, but there's nothing about the suicide. It basically just talks about the band. Think about this guy, the leader of the Foo Fighters, and look at him now. Then there are 4 lines at the end. If you look at the letter, you could see that the last 4 lines are written differently. The text is a little different, he said. Wilkins has emphasized that the team is not seeking arrest, but transparency and a review of the evidence. Well, if you're not seeking arrest and you're suggesting in some way that he was so high on heroin that he would forcibly inject, or he injected himself, and then someone ended up shooting him in the head, well, it wasn't by his own, let's just say, volition. Someone else did the bidding, and they killed him. So the discrepancy about the suicide and what have you, now this opens up. This goes to Courtney Love, her connection to Epstein. Also, you got to think about other people regarding that. Think about who she is. Look at that. Hey, about my name, Epstein's address book. It's creepy as fuck that I'm here. I agree. I don't know him, never met him, didn't know who he was. Apparently, he collected celebrity phone numbers. Wow. What the fuck? Wow. I think this is the song. I would shiver the whole night through. I can't play it. Anyway, I'll get a strike from YouTube. I'll get a strike. Marshall, your thoughts? Why seek to reopen it and relabel it if you're not going after anybody to actually seek? I mean, if murder, as we're just talking about, has no timetable, it's an open book of what? The long arm of the law to come after you, to find you, to hunt you down so they can prosecute you and make sure justice is served. So you're going to open up the case, call it murder, and do nothing about it. It was a sacrifice to Foo Fighters. Yes, I agree with that. What's the Foo Fighters lead singer's name? He's got his hand in it, no doubt about it. Think about where the rights went to, who's involved with it, Courtney Love. I think there's a whole host of people with that money all entangled. What's his name? David Grohl. Yeah.
Absolutely. And the thing is that if you decide you want to be a part of the entertainment industry, you're better off trying to create your own label like Kid Rock did.
Yep.
Because if you don't and you sign a big label,
they're going to control you.
You're going to be part of this.
Yeah.
You're going to be part of this. And once you go the wrong way, you say one wrong word, you could be Michael Jackson. You could be Leonard Skinner.
Which is apparently he's alive too now. So, I mean, all these people are alive and we're crazy, Marshall. I mean, dude, Lionel Nation, I was watching him and, the other day, he's suggesting that all these people are alive. And I'm like, wow, when did you come out of that?
I mean, him and Michael Jackson and Trump were close friends. Maybe he did save him. I hope he did.
Yeah.
The guy was one of the most talented people in the world. But this is what they do in the entertainment industry.
Yeah.
You getting part of that whole crowd, that what do I call it? The Cargill. Cargill, the big meat processing company. Cargill. It's called Cargill or Tyson.
I'll take it. Yeah, I know Tyson.
Food. And you want to be part of the entertainment business that is like Tyson. You're a piece of meat.
Yep.
That's all you are.
I like 71 gifted the cookie. Trusty Term for the cookie. Trump 1 gifted the can. Who dropped a blue thing here? A disagree. What do you do? Who? Trusty Term disagreed about something, or somebody else did? Trump 1 gifted the can. Thea donated 300 gold pills. Thank you so much. Who dropped this blue one? I disagree. Disagree with what? I want to know who that person is.
Robin Williams, that's another one.
Yeah,
Thank
Cargo's
you
a
for
big B processor. I didn't know that. Everybody's alive. Everybody's a clone. Good Lord. Well, I do believe Epstein and Charlie Kirk is. That's as far as I'll go. As for everybody else, I don't know.
You're still alive.
Yeah, I'm still alive for now.
Or as I
After what I just went on a rant, they'll probably come after me. No doubt about it. They'll say I was so anti-Semitic, they'll have to punish me. But whatever. I don't fucking care. I'm disgusted with what I heard.
Call
and
Randy
the fact that
Fine.
she was fired or removed. What's that?
Just call Randy Fine. He'll help you out.
Yeah. Fuck him too. Fuck him too. Fuck him too.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, that guy doesn't even know our Fifth Amendment constitutional rights.
He's
Ghislaine's guilty automatically. So everybody that basically pleads the Fifth is guilty. That's what the Palm Coast congressman says. Wow. Epstein bought 330 gallons of sulfuric acid on the same day FBI launched trafficking investigation. Told you it's real. And, this whole thing with Bannon, that his jacuzzi or whatever hot tub was marred, damaged, that he rented out, that looked like in some way that was damaged from this type of acid in some way. The question is who used it and why did they use it? But this is all part and parcel of what they're saying about Bannon. At least that's what Roger Stone is suggesting. Newly released Justice Department documents are raising disturbing questions about Epstein, as records have revealed a large sulfuric acid purchase for his private island on the very same day. According to receipts and internal emails contained within millions of files released on January 30th, Epstein arranged for 6 55-gallon drums, roughly 330 gallons of sulfuric acid, to be delivered to Little St. James, his private island in the Caribbean, also known as Pedophile Island. The chemical purchase, $4,373, occurred on June 12th, 2018. There you go. The request referencing materials tied to an RO plant, including conductivity probes and pH equipment. RO refers to reverse osmosis, water purification process in which sulfuric acid can be used to adjust pH levels. Yeah, I was reading about this, but you could also use other types of acid to do that. Why would you need something of that strength and improve the treatment efficiency? Beyond water treatment and system maintenance, the documents provide no additional explanation for the chemical odor. Strong acids such as sulfuric acid can chemically break down organic tissue, which is why they are sometimes discussed in forensic and criminal texts. Wow. The Snow White was fucked twice as soon as she put her costume on. Correspondence has not identified a woman involved with ages. It's also unclear with whether the references of Snow White involve the same individual. Now, the questions of why the dental chairs were there is that they were removing teeth of children so they wouldn't bite them as they were being raped and abused. It's fucking absolutely disgusting. And again, I would say, why are we in the streets? Why aren't we burning down shit? Why aren't we demanding justice for this in some way? Who do we look to go after these people? Is there somebody left alive that we can go, well, Les Wexner is. There's other names in there. Bin Salamar, he enjoyed that torture video. I mean, how are these people going to be removed off this mortar coil? I just don't know. Not in the way we think it is. Not by the Justice Department as we see it is. That would be too easy.
I just did a quick search, Brett, and I own a hot tub,
Yeah.
but I don't have a hotel hot tub where
Right.
tons of people are going through there.
Mm-hmm.
But it says here that hot tubs have become clogged with hair and other things and foreign obstacles. Acid drain cleaners they use sulfuric acid
Yeah.
to clear the
I have this stuff. What's this stuff? You pour it down the drain. It's a gel form, but it says make sure you wear gloves because it contains sulfuric acid.
So it's a common thing. I mean, I don't use it here because it's just me and
Right.
maybe a friend or whatever.
But they say be careful
hotel-
about the pipes. You want to make sure, like, I use the vinegar, like, what's the vinegar that's like 30% that you use to kill roots outside and other things? You could do that. I put that down the drain. But he said that one of the plumbers said, yeah, but you want to make sure that vinegar acid will eat through the pipes,
like metal
in some way.
pipes.
Yeah. So when you consider that, so what you want to use something that's going to be diluted in some type of gel that has sulfuric acid in that will be time released. But in this case, he's ordering all these drums and stuff to help whatever. I mean, are people jumping to conclusions or? I mean, I don't know. But, Bannon's, there was a whole discussion about Bannon's.
Rental, I mean, I don't know.
In Miami, I don't know. Like I said, I am not buying or selling stock of Steve Bannon. Not at all. And his stock is dropping big time. Again, many other people, muriatic acid for the pool. Good one, FL John. And I believe that some of them have those things in there because they're less dangerous per se. No one should be splashing around as in Bannon's rented tub.
That's why he's so tan all the time, right? He's hanging out in the hot tub.
Trusty Turnup, you're too funny. You're too funny. Who's a good girl? Who's a good girl? You're too funny. You're too funny. That's fucking great. Holy shit.
Oh,
that
hey,
just made me laugh considering I've been really upset about what I just read about the Zionism. Catholics against Zionism. My God.
You got to become a Catholic again, man.
Lincoln
Brad.
Park is MK Ultra facility in Canada where Chester was sent as a kid. That's why they named him as Band Lincoln Park. Okay. I'm a believer in Junior being alive. Okay. At this point, I'll take everything. I'll take anything and everything. I'll take everything and anything. All right, let's finish this up. Patrick Bate Davis. He comes out and says co-host Nancy Guthrie's kidnapping is connected to what? The Epstein files. Honestly, this is very creepy. Is Nancy Guthrie's kidnapping connected to the Epstein files? Let's listen to this. Everything right now that you do, when you wake up in the morning and you drink a couple of coffees, and as a diuretic, you have to use the John to go to the bathroom, okay, you could blame it on Epstein because you could say that coffee was laced with sulfuric acid that forced you to go to the bathroom because in some way, Epstein knew the guy who made that coffee or had a meeting with him. Think about that. That's what I'm talking about, the 6 degrees of desperation. You can basically put together a game and anything that you do in the world today, you can blame on Epstein because he met with these people. Oh, yeah. Wait till I show you something else before we go. I know it's running late, but let's play it.
I want to get to the next story here. Next story I want to get to, which is kind of weird. We've all been following this story very closely because it's tragic when you hear siblings sitting there and all of a sudden their mother is missing at, how old is she? 84 years old?
Yeah.
What? Yeah. And this incident happens, and then the more and more you keep seeing stuff, the link, when it happened, when the announcement was made. Apparently, the people that have their mother is now asking for, did you say, Rob, 6 million in Bitcoin is what they're asking for? And then there's a we're willing to pay, we're willing to do this, we're willing to do that. Rob, which clip is this? This is
Savannah Guthrie talking about paying the ransom.
Okay, go for it, Rob. Go ahead.
We received your message and we understand. We beg you now to return our mother to us so that we can celebrate with her. This is the only way we will have peace. This is very valuable to us and we will pay.
Okay, Vinny, thoughts?
Okay, well, obviously tragic story, but at the end of the day, when something this massive happens, Tommy, I have to be like, why? Why her? Why Savannah?
Yeah, I got to cut that. Why Savannah? Why her? We talked about the idea in some way. What is the purpose of paying in Bitcoin? And there was movement on activity, as Harvey Levin said from TMZ, but it could be tracked and traced. So why do that? Is this connected to Epstein in some way? Absolutely. But the point is, how is it connected? We understand why it's connected. They're basically saying, look, if you keep your mouth shut, we'll return her. But if you say anything that directly impacts or affects something in this matter, we're going to come after you, or we'll just kill her. I personally think she's dead. But, or you know what? Or someone is holding her freely, safely, until.
No.
Yeah, I mean, that's the alternative. But
No,
again, I don't buy it either. But
I
you
don't-
might not even find her.
I don't think she's around anymore. And
Mother
I
had
do
ties
think
to the
that
Clintons.
they did use this I do think that they use this thing to stall out and distract away from the Epstein information. Because I watched, you know what? I watched Fox News last night from 6 p.m. until like 11 or whatever.
Oh God!
All they did.
You didn't want to commit
I
suicide.
I did it on purpose because all they did, Brett, was talk about every show that came on. Ingram, Hannity, all of them, Waters. It was the whole hour of each show was about Guthrie.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing about Epstein. That should say something, Brett.
Mm-hmm. I'll just leave you with this. I found this on Gazette Teller. Yeah, distraction. Exposed Epstein, the global elite's plan to rewire human DNA, take control of human reproduction. There's no doubt about it. A lot of evidence inside the emails. The core objective, rewrite human DNA. We already know this from Bill Gates. Remove biological freedom. He targeted genetic markers connected to cognition, temperament, fertility, and aging. We see what the problem is now, especially from COVID. These markers were cataloged and private reports shared between his network and illegal foundations. I think COVID was a dead giveaway of what they were starting. The elites wanted a world where they chose the traits survived and eliminated the traits that threatened the power structures. When new documents surfaced in late January 2026 during Trump's intelligence briefings, investigators confirmed Epstein's scientific outreach was coordinated through 3 elite hubs: European Eugenics, Revival Group, and a West Coast biotech circle tied to social tech billionaires and Middle Eastern sovereign wealth cluster funding private genomic vaults. Wow. The reproductive control network, second layer, was built around fertility domination. His island served as a private consultation hub for elite families seeking guidance on shaping their bloodlines. Wow. This was a direct attempt to control birth itself. If they control reproduction, they controlled future populations. Under the Trump DHS, Intel cross-division identified at least 5 private clinics across the U.S. and Europe connected to Epstein's genetic selection program. Holy shit. All 5 are under investigation actively as we speak this year. Anti-aging genome resets, immunity engineering, neural performance treatments, cognitive preservation protocols, proprietary stem cell infusions. When you start to understand what Epstein's all about, it's not about the trafficking. It's not about the sexual deviances and the perversions. It's not about murdering the children and abusing them. It's this. It's extracting information and DNA and using them as lab rats for their labs, operated through shell foundations, no regulatory oversight. Their results were reserved exclusively for elite clients. This created a biological upper class, longer life expectancy. There you go. Strong immunity and higher mental endurance. Child-based biological harvesting, stem cell, hormonal extraction. You see how hormones are really big this year with the GLPs, epigenetic imprint analysis, stress response mapping. The biology fed directly into elite longevity research. This was industrial harvesting, ladies and gentlemen. This was it's all about. This is what Epstein was all about. Global genetic segmentation. The plan assigned rights based on DNA to control your DNA. Medical access, financial privileges, travel permissions, and employment pathways. So you had to have a certain DNA, and databases would be set up, and then you would be able to be utilized in some way, humanity into tiers based on genetic fitnesses, reproductive desirability, and behavioral predictability. What movie have we seen about this? I think there's a couple.
A lot of movies, man.
What can you name one?
I don't know the name
What's
of the movie.
what's
but
the
it was-
hunting games?
It was,
Is it
well,
the hunting?
there's one I remember where
What's it? Is it the hunting? What's the
people
hunting?
were underground and
Yeah.
they had a whole city set up with
Yeah.
predetermined people, and they're all in there, and it was a blonde woman and a blonde guy, and they got out of there
Yeah.
and they went up. Man, I wish I knew them. And that is exactly what this is.
Yeah. Yeah.
They
The
want
Hunger
to live
Games. Thank you,
forever,
Trusty
Brett.
Tom. This
They
the
wanna
Hunger
live-
Games. Yeah. These
They
types
want to
of
live forever.
yeah, human identity was being transferred from citizenship to genome classification. This is what it's all about. You want to know what they're about? This is what they're about. Reproductive hubs and engineered offspring, intelligence scaling, obedience curve suppression, emotional dampening traits, longevity, amplification markets. These are what Epstein was about. It was nothing about anything else. DNA tied global identity. Your DNA would tie you to an identity where you would only be allowed to receive certain substances. The planned model was genetic codes become primary identification keys. Borders, healthcare, banking, education, law enforcement. My God, do you understand that? Yes, the Running Man, very similar. Engineered labor classes, high endurance, reduced aggression, controlled reproductive drive, and increased servitude. So you can only have children based upon if they allow you to do it on this controlled reproductive drive that they would assert you with. The goal was to replace future labor shortages with biological modified humans designed around docility and compliance. Holy shit. Survival vaults for elite bloodlines, elite embryos, cryogenic DNA, engineered tissue libraries. They want to make a bigger brain, a smarter person. They want to make a perfectly engineered. I remember watching Star Trek The Next Generation. We're in the late 20th century. In that time frame, they talked about the perfectly engineered societal person created to fit a certain a schematic for a certain reason for a certain community. That's exactly what they were trying to create. And that was in Star Trek The Next Generation, which was done in the 90s. Great TV show, sci-fi. That was probably really everything after that was, for Star Trek is garbage. But I really do like The Next Generation because where they got rid of the bioengineers and they talk about the faults and all these other things that these people are put in positions that were bioengineered to fill a role. And if they're removed, the society might collapse because they don't have anything else to rebuild it. And these things were set in place. That's what they were trying to do. A global DNA database. Biology was being positioned to replace law with determined individual rights. The turning point. Interesting. Under Trump's leadership, the machinery designed to control human species is being exposed. That's what they wanted. This was fantastic. Marshall, your thoughts? I'll drop it in the chat. I already dropped the pills, and we're out of here.
No, I think that's where we're heading. And it's a hard nut for people that are on the outside, unlike you and all of us who are watching the show. It's a hard nut for these people to handle.
Mm-hmm.
So people have to understand, man. Look at when people went through COVID, they're crazy now. 20% of those people of our population are crazy now.
Yeah.
So, look, I think it's meant to happen. We have to play through it.
Mm-hmm.
All the tough nuts will handle it. Everybody that's out there that knows what's going on, they're going to be pissed off. We're all pissed off because we don't get to hear all the information. But we're going to come through it, and the ones that are like us and understand that or end up getting into that and learning it, we will finally get through it. And we just have to follow through, Brett.
I dropped it in the chats in both
wait.
pill.net and Rumble. I suggest you go read it. I printed it up. I highlighted it. I had to move fast. We're out of time. And I have to tell you right now, this is exactly what Epstein was and his clientele.
Yeah.
Think about the reason why he had Bill Gates and all these other people with the Green New Scam and all these different things and what they were setting out. The WHO, the entanglements of all these different things, the UN. Everything was positioned in this matter that they were setting up to bioengineer the next human slave, let's just say progenitors, people that would be utilized and put in positions so the elites would live off their slavery while they run the world and they can continue on being who they are, doing what they're doing. It's extraordinary. Absolutely extraordinary. Blew my mind reading it. And I know it's going to take a little bit of time for people to process and figure out this is who Epstein was with his cohorts. That's our show for tonight. Marshall, your final thoughts as we dip out of here?
No, man. I mean, I think we covered it all.
Yeah. No, it's good. I want to thank
it all. It's all good, man. Everybody.
Yeah, I think we covered a lot. Yep. It is
your head
crazier than
straight.
crazy.
That's all you got to do. Keep your head
Yes.
straight.
Yep. And yeah, don't mind me freaking out because I have every right to feel I do about how we talk about Christianity. And you know what? If you want to come at me, that's fine. But I can tell you right now, don't tell me ever to simmer down when it comes to Christianity. All right?
Simmer down.
I mean, it's just nonsense. Nonsense what we're dealing with
right.
these laws, Zionism, anti-Semitism. So basically, if you fart the wrong way, you're anti-Semitic. Fuck you. Fuck you and die. Fuck all these people. You know what? We can't. I mean, we're going to sit back and watch Iran obliterate Israel. And most people are going to be clapping because they went this way. That's why they're sending all these ships in there. Something's going to take place, and they're going to do it. And Trump is like, no, we want a peaceful solution. Yeah,
those laws,
peaceful solution and Israel doesn't go hand in hand. It's not synonymous. Yeah.
Those Zion laws, Brett.
Yeah, I know.
They're going to be a thing of the past. Don't worry.
No, I think so. I think people will push back to get them revolt. You know, that's why I said, hey, look, Byron Donalds, you want to run for governor and win, and you want to stand by those laws. Good luck. You got that. You got other negative things going against you. Good luck. I'm not voting for you in the primary. And I can tell you right now, many of the people I know are not voting for you either. And so you want true people that support President Trump, just get out of the way. I mean, honestly, there might be people like myself say, you know what? Even if you win the primary, I'm not voting for you in the general. And then you lose. And then we get stuck with somebody, you know, even worse. But that's what's going on with the black pillars. That's what's going on with many of the people that are on X that are saying, hey, yeah, just stand down. Don't get out and vote. Don't waste your time. Let the House be taken over. Let them impeach Trump. Are these people serious? Absolutely. They are absolutely serious. And they're batshit crazy because they only care about themselves. That's our show. Good night. God bless. We will return on Friday. We ran late. I'm sorry. We'll see you again very soon, shortly. Thanks, Marshall. Ciao, Bella, ladies.